Hey everyone. Good morning. Good Sunday morning to you. I thought I'd see you all in church. Yeah. Who's in the chat? Who showed up? People Circus is here. Mexican Iron Man. Ron Laubacker. Hello. All of these great members of the channel. Gaius Marius. Hello. Triple Skip. Lama Gigante says, I am church. Yeah. Well, this will be church too. Yeah. So happy to see you guys. Really happy. I love it. Absolutely love to come here. Love to see you guys participating, being a part of the show. Couldn't do it without you, obviously. Really, really appreciate my loyal subscribers. And of course, even more so, I appreciate even more so those of you who actually join up and become members of the show. That is a fantastic thing that you guys do. And you can do it. If you haven't yet joined, you're wondering how come some people have their names in green and they have little soy boys next to their name. How come they're allowed to put in human sunbeam emojis and things like that? What? Well, you have to join the channel. If you look right next to the subscribe button, you're going to see a join button, and you hit that join button, and you are, you're giving the channel $4.99 a month, and for that you get all kinds of cool special privileges, including those awesome emojis. Downshift is here. He says we're part of the cult. Yes, we are. This is a cult, and this is your indoctrination session. I'm going to indoctrinate you all today. It'll be great to do that. We've got Steve Dyes here, Jay Potts, Cultimus Prime, Vince Garrett, and everyone, just all of your friends, all of your furry friends and neighbors. All right, so Zack is going to be here. He messaged me this morning, and he said, hey, people are telling me I need higher tiered items on my campaign for Jawbreakers God King because people want to support the campaign. But, Zack believes in going very simple. He's got a $25 tier, a $50 tier, and that's kind of the way he goes. And I just said, well, he said, I want to do a signed edition. And so how much is the signed edition? And I recommended that he do signed book and print for $100. He agreed, and he put that up there. And then I also said, hey, maybe offer people a chance to be able to buy 10 copies at once. If you do that, if you allow people to buy 10 copies at once, then it's likely that, some of your bigger fans are going to actually want to help you out and do that. So he said, okay. And I think that's what he's doing right now. He's actually fixing up his campaign. He's getting ready to come on here. We're going to push God King today. We're going to see if we can get this thing to 6 figures. I think we should get it to 6 figures by tomorrow. That is my goal. I want to see this thing at $100,000. This is your boy Zack's second big Jawbreakers campaign. And of course, it's like, of course he deserves that. Everybody here loves your boy Zack, and we're excited about this new book. By the way, the art is just smoking. The art is smoking, and I hate to say that because I love John Malin. John Malin's my pal, and I really like his artwork. I'm a fan. And this new guy is just absolutely fantastic. I don't know where Zack found him. Jimmy Fakuro, thank you for becoming a new member. Happy to see you. All right, so in any case, I just figured I would get started without him. I said, yeah. He's like, I'll be there in like 20 minutes or so. You know, he's like, I just woke up. I got morning things to do. And I was like, all right, well, I will just begin the show. I'll just begin the show, and I'll start it off. You know what? I'm not putting my camera on today. Even though I lost another 2 pounds, I'm not putting my camera on. The reason why I'm not is because I'm wearing a wife beater. I don't want to wear a wife beater on camera. I don't, but I want to be comfortable today. It's really muggy out. Lancer737 says, Uncle E, we want the real swamp water cyberfrog emerged from in a jar, please. That is a great idea. Can you imagine? Yeah, Ethan's selling swamp water in a jar. That's one of his tiers. One of his perks is swamp water. And then people are going to drink it and get sick. I probably won't do that. I care about you guys a little bit too much to be able to do that to you. Yeah. OBGYN says man titties a little bit. Don't worry, it's coming off. You guys don't understand. I mean, I'm up and around. I'm actually doing stuff. I'm getting exercise. You know, it's important to do that. It's important to get out and walk. You know, enjoy your enjoy the neighborhood. I mean, I can run on these streets, and one thing I really love to do is run. Absolutely love to run. So, getting myself back into shape to do that. Being a comic book artist, it is hell on your body. It's so sedentary. It's just sedentary work. It's not what I want to be doing all the time, just sitting on my ass. I'd like to be out and doing stuff. I think you guys understand. That's why it's like I see people who are like construction workers, and I'm envious of that. I'm like, you're out there all day working. You're doing stuff with your hands. You just don't get. I don't think you get paid enough. That's the only thing. Your boy Zack's Jawbreaker's God King graphic novel. Have you guys seen this? Let's see. Anime Slayer says full body workout twice a week is all you need. EVS. Yeah, to get me in shape, get me swole. Gym vlogs now, says Blarful. Oh, can you imagine if I did that? What if I turned this channel into a fitness channel? I'm just fitting this pie in my mouth. David Sutherland says physical fitness is a journey, one step at a time. Yeah, I agree. I completely buy into that. I do believe that, you know, and the main thing is to just watch what you eat. You guys are still sending me stuff. I got some packages. I got to open them. I'll probably make a video of it. I opened one of them, and there was a Jabba the Hutt inflatable costume in there. And the guy actually left me a note. He said it says one size fits all, but like, if you don't fit into this Jabba the Hutt inflatable costume, don't talk about it. Like, don't tell people. And the last thing that you want to do is tell people that like there's a one size fit all Jabba the Hutt costume, and it was too tight on you. I have to agree. I don't know if I want to walk around like Jabba the Hutt. I opened it up. I'm going to inflate it. I'll probably wear the Jabba the Hutt costume around the house a little bit. Hyoga Saint says EVS for next Mr. Universe. Kevin Sharp is here. Hi, Kevin Sharp. Good to see you. Let's see. Elminster says making a trip to the fridge for pies doesn't count as exercise, EVS. It doesn't. I got to walk up all those stairs, though. It's a long journey. By the way, another thing, Porphygenitus sent me a big case. I was like, what is in this box? This box is huge. And the box got beaten up in travel and everything. I'm like, I'm going to open this box up. He sent me like a bunch of cases of blood honey ale, like mead, and like just beer, like tons of blood. It's called blood honey. And I was like, whoa. I think that's safe to drink. Do I trust Porphygenitus? I think I do. He's a good member of the chat. So I'm gonna put that stuff in the refrigerator and I'll try it. I mean, it's not my brand. Blood honey, believe it or not, is not my brand. But I will give it a shot. Johnny Dollar, thanks for $1.99. Witness the fitness as E kicks this. Little hip hop there. Absolutely. All right, I want to check here and I want to see Zack's campaign. Excuse me, and see if he actually fixed it yet. All right, so we got $25 for the God King book and pinup. 40. Why does he do this? Why does he do this? You can't do that. When he gets in here, I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. No, it's 50. It's not 10% off. No, he didn't do it yet. Let me refresh it again. and see if it's there. Nope, not there yet. He's still working on it, I guess. He said, when I do this, when I make changes to my own campaign, I go over them like 6 or 7 times just to make sure I didn't F myself over by accident. It's a good policy. Back Jawbreakers God King. The link is in the description. We'll talk to Zack about that and a ton of other stuff. We got so much stuff to go over today. So much stuff in the news. So much belligerence. So much pure evil. So much SJW garbage. It is going to be. It's going to be a trip. It's going to be a good time. Also, while you're here, let's look at Cyberfrog Blood Honey is still up. I'm getting my copies Friday. Yeah. Friday. That's, by the way, did you hear that? That's the testosterone right there. That's a Friday. That's someone who's lifting weights a little bit again. You know, when you're like, yeah, like that. That's somebody who's lifting weights. There's a lot of testosterone pumping through my veins. Monkey Decamp, thanks for $2. Are you continuing with Rainbow Brute, Uncle A? Of course I am. Rainbow Brute's my next campaign. It's my next big campaign. I'm kind of working on it now. You know what I'm working on? Gay Randy Savage says Dr. Meatball. Yeah, maybe a little. Maybe it was. No. I sounded cool. I sounded like I sounded like Booker T a little bit. Otto Mattis says, I really appreciate that animated Laughing Man end. Yeah, that was great. That was by 3D Robin. I wanted it to be my intro, but it ended up just kind of making a better outro, I think. I like it a lot more. And it's just perfect. It's great to see him animated, you know. Vasin Kasai says, lifting weights like the 40-pound box of chocolates you got from Amazon. I didn't get 40 pounds of chocolate from Amazon. You're just making things up. Cyberfrog Blood Honey team up cover still available for a short while. We're going to print. I'm going to pull this down suddenly. People are going to be like, "You're taking it's gone. What happened?" I'm like, "I took it down. We're ready to go. We're in fulfillment now." So if you haven't yet purchased Cyberfrog Blood Honey, you should. Now let's talk about Rainbow Brute a little bit. I'm working on the campaign. I learned a little bit of stuff. First of all, watched Mike S. Miller. And by the way, Mike never listens to a thing I say, and he's proud of that. I don't know why he's proud of it. He could be doing better. If he actually listened to me, he'd be doing better. Now, I am a humble man, and I will listen to anyone. I do listen. I'm not set in stone. I'm not set in my ways. If somebody has a good idea, I want to hear it, and I will listen to them. So that's what I did. I watched Mike S. Miller's campaign, and he had this whole thing where he and it was kind of cool. He had covers, like bonus variant covers, that showed up at certain points in the campaign. Now, Mike did it wrong. Mike made it so that you didn't have to reach a certain level. He didn't make them stretch goals. He just said, at this point in time, we will be releasing the John Malin cover. At this point in time, we will be releasing the Ethan Van Sciver cover. I don't like that. What I'm going to do, but I do like the idea of stretch goal variant covers. I like the idea of unlockable perks. So that are substantial, like brand new tiers with perks on them that get unlocked at a certain point. So I'm going to be doing that with Rainbow Brute. But the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do an early bird special for Rainbow Brute, which is going to be probably the coolest thing ever. It's going to be I'm having lunch boxes made. I'm having giant sized lunch boxes made, tin lunch boxes surrounded with Rainbow Brute art. And this Rainbow Brute art, this container, this lunchbox inside is going to contain everything. It's going to contain the book. It's going to contain cards. It's going to contain, I think, scratches of Snickers. It's going to contain a little smelly eraser, a topper to put on your pencil of Rainbow Brute. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Tatooini says, EVS, let's watch the soy-filled Rainbow Bright commercial with your boy Zack. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if Zack can sit through that. That was infuriating. I told him about it, and he was just like, I don't know how you did 3 hours of Rainbow Bright commercials. I was like, I don't know how I did either, but I'm glad that I did because it paid off at the end. It absolutely paid off at the end. And they got these soy boys. I don't know. I don't know how this happened. I don't know why it happened. I had to go back and see if I hallucinated it. You guys saw it with me. I didn't hallucinate it. Hold on a second. Hallmark Rainbow Bright. What were they called? What were those little things called? Those little miniature weirdo midgy things. They were weird. Hallmark Rainbow Bright. What were they called? I want, it's like I want them to be called Pops, but they're not called Pops. Dominic Russo says, no, don't. Mr. V says, I don't think I can watch that again. Yeah, they are brutal. They are brutality. Hold on a second. Let me just see it. I want to see those guys again. If I can find them. Yeah, here it is. The itty bitties. They're itty bitties. Oh my God. How do you make the stupidest shit? All right. And then you make a making of video. Why do these people do this? Why is it? Why were these guys given money? Why were they given the job of producing Rainbow Bright itty bitty commercials on behalf of Hallmark? And then why, after they failed, after they created the weirdest, most upsetting shit ever, did they make a making of video? Why did they do that? All right, hold on a second. Some of you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to watch a little bit of this. I want you to watch these guys and tell me they don't belong in prison. They do belong in prison.
So the video making process for EVS Screen starts with concept. So Tommy and I kind of sit around and
these guys. Look at this guy.
Deep dive into whatever the license is and trying to figure out who we're representing.
We deep dive into whatever the license is and try to figure out who we're representing. And then what do? Nothing. Then what do? Cokeman says, "Oh no, Ethan, stop." These guys are acting like they made a Pixar film.
And then that turns into your storyboards. Which then turns into
then we play with these little puppets with our hands, with our hairy hands on screen.
It's just us playing with dolls.
It's just us playing with dolls. This has got to stop. Look at these guys. Look at him. He goes, it's just us playing dolls. Hold on a second. Now, I want you to watch. The realization has already hit him. He's like, oh, God, I've wasted my life. Like, oh, man, And he's just like, it's us playing with dolls. And then he turns to him, who's deep in thought. Are you not aware that you're on camera right now talking about Rainbow Bright, you jackass, you weirdo? Wyatt Holiday says, Hail Caesar, Sword and Sorcery is reborn for a new age. Ardana begins the search for her missing father, lost during his quest to recover his stolen birthright. Ardana number 0 now on Indiegogo and Ardana.com. Thank you very much, Wyatt Holiday. All right, let's watch this. Like,
two-dimensional set.
Okay, all right.
With dolls on a two-dimensional set.
Yeah, we do. We play with dolls on a two-dimensional set.
And then we hand it off to somebody else to actually be like, okay, make it look pretty.
Yeah. If Zack saw this, he would vomit. If Zack saw this, he would projectile vomit. He would never stop throwing up. And then we hand it off to someone else and say, make it look pretty. That was funny what you just said. That was funny. Anyway. Dr. Wright says, what is this and why are we being subjected to it? Because this is the problem. It's like I was talking about this yesterday. We went through the Rainbow Bright commercials. I was doing research for Rainbow Brute. I was trying to understand what Rainbow Bright was because I never watched it. I mean, I'd seen it, but really watching the commercials and trying to get like the flavor of what that was so that I could turn it on its head and make it into Rainbow Brute. And then, the commercials came in chronological order. And then at the end of them, by the time we reached 2015, we're looking at these guys. These guys were given the job by Hallmark to make commercials for Rainbow Bright itty bitties. And they were dreadful. I mean, they were absolutely horrible. They were horrible and shameful. And this is soy right here. This screen is soy. This is drenched in soy. Oh my God. Please, Jesus, come back soon. Just come back soon. I need you to come back. We've had enough. We've gone through enough of this. And it's all this mental illness is everywhere you go. These people like them. There's kind of a female equivalent of this. They work in art schools. They're telling people what to do. They're explaining to people. They're explaining to their young, impressionable students. Look at this. Hold on a second. This makes me physically ill too. I work as an art tutor for high schoolers. The way they choose to portray female bodies is deeply worrying. We got to beat this out of them. This is church. For those of you who are like, it's Sunday, I didn't go to church. This is church. Snarkticon says, see Pocket Jack's comics? That's how you sell a book. Exactly. Doin Aether, thank you for $1.99. I think it's, what is it, a robot and a frog? Oh, Cyberfrog. I got it. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. I work as an art tutor for high schoolers. So this is a person who is teaching high school kids how to draw art, how to draw beautiful art. And he or she, I think it's a she, I think this is a she, is very upset at the fact that when these people choose to draw women, when they're drawing, painting images of women, the women are aesthetically pleasing. Reed Palancha, thanks for $10 just in support of your channel. The problems of programming gives much to cringe about. Yeah. It's easy to help students with skills, but it's more difficult to change their perceptions of beauty. I can't. Oh man. Well, I mean, look, rather than go to the gym like me, rather than, work on yourself, rather than attain physical perfection, aesthetic perfection like myself, rather than work on that, let's just change the idea of what it means to be beautiful. Artists throughout history have basically worked hard to depict the exaggeration of human form, to capture what is beautiful, what is actually objectively beautiful. And maybe it's subjective in some ways. But all of the best artists, all these great artists just depicted the standard of beauty of the day. These weirdo SJW feminists want to change that. They want potatoism to be beautiful, and it won't be. Eggs with legs will never be hot, ever, with their colorful hair. Look at this. What is this? What is this art here? What is this? Oh, it is a woman. Iris Lay. Of course it is. July 10th. Keep you current. Matt Horkin, that's your mom. Thanks. Painkiller, what's wrong with being sexy? That is the question. There's nothing wrong with being sexy. Snarkticon DM says those two cartoon characters are throwing the white power symbol up. I didn't even look at it that way, but they are. You're 100% correct. Iris Lee, let me get my voice together here. I work as an art tutor for high school students. One of the most difficult obstacles oh, wait a second. This is a woman. Is this, what kind of woman is this that would write this article? I don't think this is, no, let me think. What's her name? What's that Star Wars fan that I always do? Like, I work as an art tutor for high school students. I don't think it's that type of a woman. I think it'd be more like kind of androgynous, kind of like this. I work as an art tutor for high school students. One of the most difficult obstacles I faced is getting my students to draw realistic women's bodies in their works. Many of my students are first introduced to the world of illustration through the gaming and animation industries. Consequently, their art reflects the culture they've been exposed to. Iris needs them to be exposed to her culture, her weirdo culture. John David, thanks for $5. I'd be worried if teen boys didn't draw women that way. Of course. Don Blue says, she means fat. Let's just cut to the chase. Start drawing more fat, ugly chicks. That's beautiful, too. That's realism. We need more realism when teenage boys draw chicks. I keep telling this to John Malin. I'm like, stop drawing hot chicks and start drawing pigs. I need you to depict reality. I need more barnyard animals when you draw women in spandex. Yeah. Don Blue says, yes, BBW. That's big but beautiful, I believe. Big but beautiful. Yeah. For me, illustration should be used as a visual tool for communication and self-expression. Therefore, it is vital to portray accurate representations of oneself. A number of my students illustrate female bodies in unrealistically distorted, sexualized ways. Oh my God. It's distressing to realize those bodies are what they project onto themselves and that they don't realize the problem at hand. I work as a portfolio tutor for high schoolers. Often I find it difficult to talk to my students about how to draw realistic female bodies. Look at what you're doing. You're drawing Gumbies. Look at this. Looks like an unborn. This looks like a fucking zygote in a dress. This is not realistic. This does not prove your point. This is worse than anything else. You weirdos all draw pop figurines and anime. You draw manga. That's not realistic either. Why did you choose to present her body this way? And he says, no reason. I sketched this way. Is there anything wrong? Yes, it upsets me because I don't look like this. It upsets me because I look like an ironing board with eyes and a wig. Well, I don't want to draw you. I want to draw attractive women. Trigger alert. I don't want to draw you. I want to draw attractive women. What's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I try to tell my students, you may want to try to draw nude bodies based on observation rather than imagination. I don't want to see you naked either, my God. She's trying to get naked for our high school students. Oh, this is disgusting. Stop it. What? This is, call the cops. Do you want to see me naked? Do you want to see what a real woman looks like? Do you want to see what a non-Playboy magazine model looks like? Dress falls to the floor. Ah! Why hasn't anybody called the FBI on this person? This article's published. You can read this article. Painkiller Studio says, jealous they won't ever look like ScarJo at 12 out of 10. Yeah, don't hate on winners. Don't hate on ScarJo. Oh my God. We got to stop these people. They're all over society. They're everywhere. They're trying to stop things from looking attractive. They're actually anti-beauty. They are against beauty. They're against beauty. Nobody has a perfect body, and imperfection helps the audience relate to your work. Since when? How does that work out? I don't think that's true. First of all, some people do have perfect bodies. Some people do. Zack, are you there?
Yeah, what a great intro for me.
Zack, this is the disaster. Oh, by the way, let me turn the speaker off here. This is a disastrous article I found that I'm going over. I'm going to start over again. Did you watch any of this?
No, I've been getting the perk ready and doing various waking up things.
All right, we'll start over again. But first, let's talk about Jawbreaker's God King. Did you fix it?
Yes.
Magnificent. Everyone, welcome your boy Zack, Richard C. Meyer. Richard, by the way, I've noticed your cough is back.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's ever since I went to Chicago.
What happened in Chicago that made you get your, bronchitis back?
I don't know. The weather was mild, but I'm actually going to go to the doctor. Like, it's bad.
Yeah. People probably like it though. People like it when you cough.
Yeah, they get very nostalgic, but then I think, what if I have bronchitis or something?
Yeah, I think you have some kind of bronchial infection. To be honest with you, have you ever taken any kind of like, anti, whatchamacallit, to fix your broken lungs?
Antihistamine?
No, not antihistamine. Like for an infection. What's the word I'm looking for? Antibiotic. There you go.
Antibiotic?
Yeah.
Well, I've got the VA. I'll just call them and set up an appointment.
Because these things don't go away. These bronchial infections, they'll stick around. Oh man, they'll stick around forever. Ron Laubacker says cough squad over 9,000. Everybody's excited about the cough.
Yeah, people get very nostalgic.
Yeah. All right, so Jawbreaker's God King, Zach. Now I've been telling people, I talk about this almost every single day.
I can tell when you talk about it because I'll see a spike.
Oh, cool. I love that. But you know what I did? This was so embarrassing, Zach, and you don't have to comment on this. But I was in a chat with I had John Malin in there, and I said, "Look at this! It looks so much better." And I was like, I mean, and I was like, no, John, I love that is the worst thing ever when you're friends with artists and you say stuff like that. But look at this. It does look so much better. I don't even know what to say. These backgrounds are absolutely insane. I don't know where you have to go to find artists that are going to draw like this. Zach, these two panels, this is a week's worth of work for me.
So just to roll it back 30 seconds ago, I think they're equally infinitely amazing. Both of them, if this was 1992, they would be what? Travis
Charest.
Aaron Alfici, he would have been the Travis Charest. He would have gotten nabbed by Jim Lee to draw Wildcats. And John Malin probably would have gotten nabbed by Marvel when Joe Mads left Uncanny X-Men. They would have put him on.
Yeah.
And now the only person to steal these two is, well, no, obviously John Malin's got his own thing, but the only way to steal Aaron is either he does his own book or you do it, or Doug Knopple does it. Puts him on that Earthworm Jim spinoff with the Princess What's Her Name.
Oh my God, can you imagine? That'd look amazing. That'd look really cool. Yeah, I'm just impressed with the quality of this. I'm very impressed with the quality of this because I love John Malin's stuff. John Malin is kind of in the Rob Liefeld school of artists, which I'm a fan of and you're a fan of.
I'd put him. I know he gets hit with that because I think he worked with Liefeld. Mm-hmm. I always see him as a Jim Lee guy because, as you probably know, Jim Lee is a big acolyte of George Bridgman, who was very much into structure. So I always see the very, very solid structure when I look at John Malin. You can build a house built on the structure of his layouts, his compositions, his anatomy.
I see just wild energy.
Why are you causing problems, Ethan? I want to work with John again.
No, I'm not. Let me talk. I said don't comment on this. And you're commenting. Let me comment on this. I see John as somebody who just creates wild energy with his design. Oh, yeah. I don't know if structure is the thing. This is structure. This is what structure looks like, what we're looking at now. What John does is John just comes up with like an insane guitar riff and builds a whole song around it that becomes a #1 hit. This guy is, I don't know what this guy is. This guy's like Boston or something like that. He's like a rock band from the, I don't know. This guy is more of a musicianly type of guy, whereas John Malin is just pure goddamn energy, and he's excellent. This guy, though, he draws pretty much like these backgrounds are what I wish I were doing. I wish I had time to draw backgrounds like this. And I know
I noticed a little professional. I noticed a little professional, I don't know, jealousy. You zoomed in and you're like, oh, look at these backgrounds with the fake focal points. And I was like, oh, get them all catty over here.
No, Zach, you misunderstood. I said, no. It was a compliment. I was saying there are fake vanishing points, or extra vanishing points that actually make this street go up. This guy is so good. He's actually using like 6 or 7 different vanishing points properly on one panel. He's this is 3 point. Let's see. This is 1, 2 up here, 3, 4. Yeah, I mean this guy's doing like 4 different vanishing points, and these are false vanishing points right over here. This is all the way over here to make the building turn around on its side. It's completely unnecessary. It just adds realism to the whole thing. There is no there's no catty jealousy. There's genuine respect and jealousy over this, because it is fantastic, and this is just amazing. So, my God. It's a great looking book, Zach. And this, I mean, you spent a long time working on this. I mean, this book has been in progress for like a year.
Well, I mean, technically I wrote the main script in 2014, but Aaron started on it last October. Yeah, September, October. So the whole thing was to be done by the time the campaign is over. He's all done as of 2 days ago. He's actually already starting on the next one. He's going to be doing some short stories in that sci-fi book for next fall or next spring.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I might talk to this guy. You know who I got? I got Matt Cosin doing some Cyberfrog sketch cards. They just came in today. They were fantastic. Matt Cosin's Cyberfrog sketch cards are fantastic. I'm like, I got to use you somehow. Your version of Cyberfrog is excellent. You get excited when you see other people draw your characters.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like a couple of times, because I've got a schedule that goes out till like 2026 or something like that. And sometimes for like a short story, a backup, I'll put myself as the name. And then I've scratched it off every single time. I'm like, no, it's way more exciting to see other people draw my characters.
It just is. I don't know why. I mean, even for me, I watch other people draw Cyberfrog, and there are a few people who nail it, who get it just right, and then they add something to it. And you're like, whoa, like that totally brought him to life, or that made him more appealing or something like that. And I'm excited about it. But this book,
I call it escaping the trapper keeper. I don't think your character's a real character, a real hit, if you are the only person drawing it. You know, back in the day, you draw in class, you know, the trapper keeper, but what is this? Oh, it's my character. He's Silkworm. And they're like, okay, whatever, nerd kid. Now other people. And then one of the things I always think about is like they keep nailing the characters. Like, have I really defined the character that much? He's only been in a couple of pages, you know, less than, 200 pages. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a version of Silkworm that I didn't like. So it's always like a big honor. It's just very, very exciting to see other people, especially fantastic artists like Aaron and John and Kelsey Shannon. You did good, but you drew them so small. I know you did it. You did a really good one. It was for the bonus. It's on the interior, and he's giving like a thumbs up.
Yeah, but even then, like I only had a limited reference. As more people add to him and add information about him, it's like your version is going to get better and better. I mean, now it's like this is pretty clear now. At this point, when I see this character, when I see this facial hair, it is I know who it is. Like this character exists now. It's not a weird thing.
So I don't think you knew his personality that much. Like, so he has a cruel streak to him, even though he's a hero. So. You really see that in the people who have read the books. You drew him, it was great, but it was like handsome hero man. Whereas, like there's a real darkness. He's basically one of those heroes who's like one step away from being a villain.
Right. Yeah. You start to get that. I mean, once you start to like these people live in your head, and the challenge of doing what we're doing is to actually get them out of our head and onto paper. It's a real frustrating thing. Like for me, when people talk about Cyberfrog, they go, "It's just Battletoads, right? It's a Battletoads ripoff." I'm like, no, they're frogs, but he's nothing. The book is nothing like Battletoads. But how would anyone know? Until it's out and onto paper, and people have read it, and then the character becomes real to them too. So Jawbreaker, these characters existed with you for the longest time, and now they're out on paper. This is the second big, huge, epic book starring these characters that are now so familiar that even Mike S. Miller is going to put them in a crossover book. And it's like, it just seems natural. It just seems natural to see them anywhere. pretty exciting stuff. Look at this, great acting. Look at the quality here.
It's, it's one, and he finished, and he's like, okay, next book. I was like, whoa, let's get you on a little something, to broaden the palette or give yourself a little break. But he was ready to go immediately into the next book, which is actually the next book is a prequel. It's how the team met.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So do you have a title yet, or you don't want to spell that? You don't want to spell that?
Oh yeah, I've talked about this a million times. Jawbreaker's fan art, the Twitter, he made a whole timeline. It's called Jawbreaker's Grand Bazaar, but bazaar is spelled like strange instead of like where you buy a bunch of stuff, even though they're at a bazaar.
Yeah. All right, cool.
And he's also doing, I got 2 short stories, both written by a writer you like, that's going to be in that sci-fi thing. Oh, wait, I can't say the character because that'll give it away. But it's 2 short stories. It's going to be well worth it. And then the main guy is doing a great thing. He actually just got promoted from the second book, or the second longest story in the book, to the title story. So he's going to be.
What I want to know is this, Zack, as a writer now, nobody really gets to see your scripts too often. I wonder if you wouldn't mind even just telling us what kind of script, what kind of description you gave to Aaron to draw this panel sequence, this 2-panel sequence.
Okay, so I consider myself like just starting to become a writer, like a real basic writer. I don't think I ever have the possibility to be like an Alan Moore or even like an extreme craftsman like a Peter Tomasi. But my scripts are embarrassingly simple. I do 5 panels on every single page, unless it's a one-shot or a double-page spread. And this probably said something like, Silkworm punches him into the ground.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Silkworm shatters his sternum with a devastating hook.
No, nothing like
cracks
that.
the ground underneath them, and nothing like that, huh?
No, that's why I'm always shocked when they imbue all of this deep, rich, emotional acting, because like maybe I'll preface it in a previous panel with saying Silkworm is angry. But I think one of the things is, people can intuit, you read the whole script and you've read the other ones and you understand like Silkworm's got an anger problem. He's got a cruel streak. Like he's not just going to punch you like Adam West Batman. This is like humiliating and he's trying to hurt you. Oh, no, actually I'm screwing up. No, he's beating this guy to death. I forgot.
He's beating this dude to death.
Yeah. And then somebody's going to stop him or suggest he stop.
Okay, man. Yeah. The thing about it is that you have a choice. I mean, you have auteurs, you have guys like Alan Moore, who actually intrude, in his scripts. You mentioned Alan Moore. His scripts are kind of intrusive. They're so detailed that they really don't leave you very many places to go.
Yeah, I've seen them before, and it's not condescending, but it's almost like the Lord of the Manor giving the stable boy instructions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't, like you said, you don't have any wiggle room. You don't have any way to interpret. Like it's an honor to write to draw an Alan Moore script, but I remember, back in the 90s, they're like Alan Moore script for whatever, Tom Strong or something like that. And I'd read like 2 pages in and it's like, oh, this is excruciating. This is like 2 days of reading if you really want to absorb it all.
Yeah. For me, I really like, I think I like what you're doing, but as long as I can call you, I really liked working with Jeff Johns because his scripts were fairly detailed. I wonder if I even have a Jeff Johns script around. I probably have a couple in my email box. His scripts are fairly detailed, but you could still call him. With an intelligent writer like Jeff, you knew he had an overall plan. But not only that, there were all these hidden themes that you could bring out of his scripts, like visual themes. Grant Morrison used to do that as well. Where, Grant Morrison, I remember doing New X-Men number 123 with Grant, and it was a fantastic script about Jean Grey and Emma Frost opening up Xavier's school to the press. I mean, she was going to do a big PR, sweep and just allow people in to see that the mutants weren't a big threat. We're just a school for special kids, and it's beautiful. If you have a mutant child, come send them here. It's a good place to grow up. She and Emma Frost were just trimming the flowers all around. And I was like, the opening of the whole thing was just flowers. And I was like, that's it. Like, that's a visual theme that you can work with throughout the entire book, where the beginning is beauty, it's innocence, it's purity, it's safety. There's something tranquil, like about a garden, that these people are tending. And then by the end of it, they have all the press come in, and we're really impressed with the school. This is great. And then suddenly, the Star Jammers come down and start tearing shit up. Really inopportune because the press is still there. And so at that point, once the Star Jammers show up, there's an opportunity for an artist to say, let's burn these fucking flowers, which is what it was. I mean, it's like I had rose petals on fire everywhere. And it was.
I didn't remember the Star Jammers either. I got to go track all those down. That was just, I remember I was in the Marines. I would believe I was in Okinawa, and, we'd go to the mall, and sometimes they'd have American comics. And I was like, who is this? I was like, Ethan Van Sciver, that Impulse guy, that Humberto Ramos guy. What the hell happened? That was a big jump in like 2 years.
No, it only seemed that way because I had to force myself to learn to draw like Humberto Ramos to get that job, which is what, I always told people back then. I said, look, take the job that you get. When you're trying to break into comics, whatever you can do, you be the guy to do that job. Whatever they need, you be the guy to do that job. So when Impulse opened up, I went, I can do that shit. Of course I can. I can draw like Humberto Ramos.
Who was Mark Waid writing Impulse when you were drawing it?
No, Todd DeZago was. Mark had.
I remember liking those ones. I don't. What happened to him? Those were good stories.
Todd moved on from DC, and I think he is writing something. What is he writing? He's still working with one of the artists from Impulse, Craig Rousseau, on a book called Perhaps-Nots, or Perhaps-Nots, something like that. And I remember being like, "Well, you should just call them Perhaps-Nots." And he went, "No," and I went, "Okay. Why are they Perhaps-Nots?"
Yeah, that's one of those good idea fairy type of titles. It's just like, no.
Yeah. So,
do you remember this other book that was like, everyone said it was popular, but I never knew. It had this weird like pun title. It was these people Foot Soldiers. Do you remember Foot Soldiers?
Was it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No. It was like late 90s, even to the early 2000s. And it was always like announced as there's another Foot Soldiers mini. It was like, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong name. Does anyone in the chat know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. A lot of people just moved on though. DC, Todd DeZago was a terrific writer who just kind of moved on from DC. And I really liked Todd,
So I did this Carnage book yesterday.
Kruger, by the way, The Foot Clan by Jim Kruger.
Yeah, I just Googled it and it said it actually is Foot Soldiers. I remembered it correctly. But yeah, so I was doing this Carnage book yesterday, and it was just amazing. It came out like when I was in the military deployed, Zeb Wells, and everyone's like, oh yeah, he's great. But we just can't hold on to our good writers. They always, bone out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, eventually people come to realize that they don't need to be a Marvel or DC. Some people don't. I think some people really do, and good for them. I mean, if you genuinely want to just be doing this, I think I stayed at DC for so long because I was scared. And ever since 2010, I was trying to get out on my own, but I was scared. I had a family, and I think a lot of that fear. Well, there are a few things, but I mean, a lot of that fear just still kind of exists with the mainstream now. It's like, this is a guaranteed,
we saw that with Brett Booth. We saw that.
Oh,
Utter, and I felt like we were getting him too close. I think he had crossed the line in his mind and then snapped back. Because it was almost like, it's like that thing I call cyber flirting, where Gail Simone's like, Sean Gordon Murphy is the bee's knees. Would love to write Babs in the Murphyverse. You know what I mean? Like you float an idea out there. And it felt like he was floating it, and then they always just snap back. I mean, I talk to other people, and they go, yeah, it's bad, but I got 2 more years left before everything collapses. But it's like we talked about before, in 2 years when everything collapses, then there's going to be a glut, and you're going to be doing a Kickstarter and making 18 grand.
Yeah. Yep, that's the situation. I mean, it's time to get out now. If you can get out now, I wish I could go back in time. I would go back to 2010 or 2011 or 12 and tell myself to get out. And it's going to
Oh
be
my
okay.
gosh, I would have gone back and started a freaking YouTube comic channel and had 2 million subscribers right now.
Geez, yeah. But you know what? Even those channels, Zach, there's something happening. Those channels are not getting the views that they used to.
Oh yeah, they got super nerfed. You know what? When I cross 100,000, they're messing with me straight up.
Mm-hmm.
I will gain 100 and then lose 100 the next day.
Yeah. Well, it's not that they're, you know what? It's not even that YouTube is messing with them. It's just that the comic book audience just is tired and they're just not there as much. Like you look at Comicstorian, Comics Explained, those guys get the same views that I get, and it's just shocking. They have 2 million subscribers, but their fan base is just like, well, you're going to tell us more shit. I mean, you're going to tell us more about, what Marvel and DC are doing. We know what they're doing and we don't really like it. Initially, the idea of these channels was just to come out and be like, well, in case you want to know the story of Venom, where Venom came from, here it all is condensed down into a 30-minute video where you're going to learn
War of the Realms. Here's War of the Realms condensed into 45 minutes. Oh God, no.
Yeah. But I mean, it saves you, and it saves you the trouble of I mean, I guess there are a lot of people who don't want to. I mean, I wanted to research everything. I didn't want to be told. I wanted to find out and discover when I got into comics. I was like the idea of going to the comic shop and learning things. Like I would buy. Marvel used to put out these books, the Book of the Dead. They had the Marvel Universe, which was an encyclopedia. I loved them. And then they put out this really creepy thing called the Marvel Universe Book of the Dead. And they were blue. And the covers all had all of the dead characters coming out of the graves as spirits. That blew my mind. I was so excited about that. And I was reading these and going, this guy died. These people all died in these comics. I wanted to find out more about them. I wanted to find out why. Why were these characters killed? Why did they die?
By the way, this is some deep lore. Like, this is like a check if you actually are a comic book geek, whether this impresses you or not. The guy who used to typeset Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe, he popped up in the comments yesterday because I did this interview with Ann Nesenti, and I was talking about the typesetting. He's like, oh yeah, I did that. And he explained, like, I guess they had this weird 1980s computer that would do stuff, like a specialized like industrial computer. So I was like, please email me, but I haven't heard from him yet.
You did an interview with Ann Nesenti? Is that what you just said?
No. I was did a interview or a video about an interview with her in Marvel Age, which was their promotional magazine. And then the guy, he's like, I did the typesetting on this. I did the typesetting for everything at that time.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, look, this is the thing, Zach. I think real comic book fans get hooked and they want to find out this information on their own. I don't think they want to have it spoon fed to them. We used to be explorers. We used to go to comic shops and try to find out more about these characters.
Oh yeah, that was one of the reasons that I don't do digital is because I want you to go out there and find, God King if you didn't get a chance for it, and then have that excitement of finding it. Mm-hmm. I remember, I got into comics and then I got, one of the issues of Kraven's Last Stand. And then it was like a whole summer I was like 15. So it would have to be like, wait until my mom is going to this mall, which is, 2 miles away from this store that I've never been to, and then ask her to do a little detour. I mean, I only had one store within even bike riding distance. Yeah. And I finally got all of them. I remember when I tracked down all of the, Todd McFarlane's this one. He goes to Kansas and he meets this black guy who got bit by a radioactive bunny. So he's embarrassed. He goes, oh, I got bunny powers. It's embarrassing. But he runs really fast. Got that one. I got there's one with Chance. Do you remember Chance?
Chance. That was the first 2 issues of Todd.
I never understood Chance. He would bet that he couldn't do something. And then how did you pay? The guy with the jetpack.
Yeah.
How would you hire him? Like, what was the contract? I never understood that.
I don't even remember. I remember reading it and just being like, It wasn't even like I was buying Todd McFarlane's work for his artwork. Honestly, anything that he was in, the art was everything to me, except not the Chance storyline, but the storyline that came directly after that is when I realized that Dave Michelini was a really good writer, and you start to realize how scary comic books can actually be, because you know, Dave Michelini's Venom storyline, where Eddie Brock shows up.
Yeah, and the sweater, and he's like, "Hey,
He'd be
hey, is Petey here?" Oh yeah, that was great.
Oh God, that's scary stuff. When you have a stalker who you know can beat the living shit out of you and knows where you live. I mean, this is all stuff that I think we can relate to, honestly.
Yeah, except for the beat the shit out of.
Yeah, that part, yeah. But you know, finding out where you live, doxing you, befriending your family.
That's like something you would see in Hitchcock. You know, That's like a Hitchcock scene right there.
Yes, you're right. There was Strangers on a Train. But it was just a fantastic story, and I remember being creeped out by it as a kid, and then suddenly thinking David Michelini was a great writer. But I mean,
I've read a couple of those. They really hold up very well.
Oh, I have them all. You know what? I bought them all, and buying them all. I went through this thing last year, 2 years ago, where I was obsessed with buying comics. I was spending way too much money buying comics.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no, collectible comics, not new stuff. I can't read new stuff, Zach. I can't. I know you do that. God bless you for that. I cannot read.
It's painful. Like sometimes I just look and I just like, oh man, I hope something stupid happens and Bleeding Cool writes an article about it so I don't have to read this awful comic.
I mean, it's just so awful. I know my contemporaries. I know who these soy boys are, and I can't. Zach, you look at. Can you see the screen, by the way?
Oh my gosh.
You see these guys right here? This is who I was talking about before. This is who is doing comics right now. These are the two guys that got handed Rainbow Bright.
These men are both lactating. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Thank you.
You know the things that lactating women put so they don't leak through their shirt?
Yeah.
I will guarantee the guy on the right is wearing those.
This guy is too, though. Believe it. You got it. I mean, these guys are absolutely worthless human beings, absolutely worthless, that somehow conned their way into Hallmark, into working for Hallmark and making advertisements for YouTube, for Hallmark's YouTube channel about these Rainbow Bright itty bitties. And the thing is,
don't people, like the average person, get very like, I got to be careful what I say, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
This is like a. Well, it's that whole, male feminist thing. Oh, I'm just a harmless goofball. Cut to 6 months, 12 months later. It's very, very off-putting. Women, I want to apologize if you're getting into dating age and this is what you're looking at. I'm sorry. I do not have the ability to start a world war to shape up all these guys. I don't have that ability.
Zach, I said that yesterday. I said, when Zach said that we need to start another war, we have to. Because this guy, you know what? Look at this guy. This guy should have died in the Civil War. You know what I mean? He's got the beard for it. He's got the cracks in his face and everything. No, instead, this guy with his hairy arms is making goddamn Rainbow Bright ads. Look, and I'm going to fucking kill this guy. I swear to God. Look at him. Look at these guys. Look at what they're doing. These are men. And by the way, I want to point something out. It's these two guys here. They decide that they want to make itty bitty commercials. Okay, so they're like, and they're the cheapest possible way, kind of like they're doing Hey Mr. Bill, whatever that was from Saturday Night Live. So
Mr. Bill.
And they decide they're going to do it, and they're going to do the voices. They're so arrogant and so selfish. They're trying to sell Rainbow Bright toys. Who is the market for this? I'll tell you who is. Ava, my 3-year-old daughter, is the market for this. And I've got these pedophiles with their hairy arms doing the little voices. Hey, I'm Rainbow Bright. You sound like Max Visaggio. Do not do a girl's voice and then do Rainbow Bright ads. It just... All right, I'm going to settle down.
Okay, so you're getting a little excited. So I'm going to step in as internet lawyer and say...
Zach, no. Look at him. I have every right to be excited. Now, here's what I wanted to say. These are the people who you need to associate with in the comic book industry right now.
Oh yeah, you have to grin and bear it and just ignore the sour milk smell. I always love that line from Dark Knight Returns where that guy on the right, a guy that looks like that, is jumping on Carrie Kelly, and she's like, he smells like sour milk.
But this is who you have to endure when you're working in the mainstream. All the men.
Let me just guess. I've never seen this video.
Okay.
Oh my God, I love RB. I was talking to my friend Trevor, and we were like, "Well, this would be so fun." And then the Trevor's on the left, and he's giggling. Is it like that?
No, because that would be if they were gay. Now, if they were gay, I'd be like, I got it. Okay, I get it. These guys are not. These guys are probably not gay. These guys are soy boys. There's a difference. These guys are soy boys. They conned their way into this job with Hallmark. And in the beginning, they go, we like to just get in there and look at the property and just try to figure out who it's for and everything. And then what you always arrive at the same fucking conclusion that you guys are the ones. These guys are con artists who do not understand. All right, I gotta settle down.
Yeah, you need to settle a little bit. You're getting a little excited, but
I don't want to associate with people like this. This is what drives me insane. I don't want to be around people like this, and the industry forces you to be around people like this. This is not someone. I'm somebody who honestly, like, I sit here and go, okay, now if Hallmark gave me Rainbow Bright and said you're doing Rainbow Bright, and we've talked about this should be the attitude of everyone who works in the industry. I don't go, this is Rainbow Bright, but it's for my masculine 44-year-old sensibilities of irony. You know what I mean? Everything is ironic snark with these guys. Everything is irony. I would go, okay, this is for little 4-year-old girls. So let me try to think about, what little 4-year-old girls might think is cool about Rainbow Bright and try to give them something that's for them. That would be my job, is to try to create the best My Little Pony, Rainbow Bright, whatever, girls' toy property aimed at girls. These guys want to take these girl toy properties and they just want to just offer them unironically, or no, completely ironically at themselves. They're doing a disservice to Hallmark, they're doing a disservice to the brand.
I just imagine they're like, so our brand is traditionally girls age 3 to 3.5. But we hear you have a new idea. Please tell us about that. And he goes, overweight 44-year-old men who smell like soured milk. And they're like, sold.
All right, I'm going to try to get in my happy place again. I wanted to show you that and just share I discovered that yesterday quite by accident. And Zach, I was losing my mind. I was so angry at it. And all right, so back to Jawbreaker's God King. We're at $88,482 right now. Fantastic. This campaign, guys, needs to get to 100,000 by tomorrow. That's my goal. I'm going to see if we can push it and get it there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, great.
Yeah, if you guys haven't backed Jawbreaker's God King yet, I think now would be the time, because you just added new tiers. Oh, there it is. Now, one thing that you hate to do is sign comics.
No, that's not true.
Tell me why. Tell me why that's inaccurate.
Unless you were building it up that, like, he's doing this for you. I'm fine with signing comics. I did sign 12,000 or something like that over a week, but I thought at the end of the day that was kind of a little silly. It's like Razorfist just did this video about 90s comics are crap. And people were saying, "Oh, you're gonna." I agreed with what he said, most of it. He was mainly talking about, like, putting out a Rogue miniseries and then putting collector's item in the logo. Like, no, it's that no. It was hilarious when he was finding all these 90s comics and showing their current value. He's like $3.42.
I was surprised they were that good. That they were worth that much. I thought he was going to say like 50 cents. They're not even. He's like they're worth $3 or $4 now, and I'm like, they are.
I like his story about working at a comic shop. By the way, I couldn't tell what decade he worked at. I'm guessing 2004 or so. And he said they had 2 long boxes of Spawn #1, but the boss said only put out one at a time and say it's $20. You know what I mean? Because then he's going to see a #1. Oh, okay, yeah. But if you sign every book, then there's no point to it. So I never wanted to get into that situation where I said that a year ago without really thinking it through. So if I do it again, it's going to be for a premium tier, because one of the weird things is, I was asking suggestions, and people kept saying have an expensive tier, and I go, for what? And they go, people just want to give you money, and I go, okay. So I added a sign tier, and I talked to some friends about, what should be the tier. So this to me is the, they say we want to show support. So this is a support for all the things that I do, named, a company, and then, other things I might need hundreds of thousands of dollars for. And also just, paying them around. So this is, for people who really have that I want to show support type of thing. So we did this signed God King book plus pinup.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it. I think, for me, it's kind of far from the original mark, which was, when I launched Cyberfrog Blood Honey, first of all, the idea that all of them are signed and therefore none of them are signed or none of them are special isn't quite the point. I think my initial idea about Cyberfrog Blood Honey was this is the red carpet premiere edition. Eventually, it's going to end up in stores, and those editions will not be signed. But the thing about it is that when we started doing this, they were so incredibly popular that boom, we've sold through, 20,000 copies.
Oh yeah, I was looking at yours. I was like, I do not remember him talking about and I saw in your update you said I'm gonna be signing these for a week. I was like, I don't remember him having. Oh my god! Oh wow!
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you here's the trick, and you might know this because you draw, but it wasn't my elbow or wrist that hurt; it was my back.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up taking a lot of back pain pills over the counter that week.
You're not used to doing what we do. I mean, that's the thing. Like I literally have a hunch to my back, from bending over the desk for 25 years, leaning over a desk, and my back is hunched a little bit. And you see these old artists that are like hunched over, little Quasimodo action. That's kind of why. So I'm probably going to be okay with that. I think what really happens is you get just tired. You just get delirious and want to go to sleep. But I'm used to signing for extended periods of time. People are like 20,000 book. That's a lot. It's going to take a week. It'll take a good solid week of consistent signing, and I'm going to need a couple of assistants to sort of line the books out for me. But
yeah, assistants would have cut my time in half because a lot of it was like, take 20 more out of the box and set them on the table, and then put these in and make sure, put them on the table so all the edges are even. But yeah, if you have assistants, you can do a lot more. I didn't have any lingering pain from it afterwards, but I did have back pain, pretty significant.
Yeah, I would think so for someone like you, but it's not that big of a deal. I like the idea of you making your God King limited. Things have changed. Your signed edition's limited. Things have kind of changed.
Well, it's not limited as in like a limited amount, but it is limited in the price. That's going to be, some people are just going to say no. So we've done things in both directions. Lots of people are saying, it's the regular book is more affordable. The postage is lower. It's like, yeah, I kind of right-sized the postage. And then the other one, this is just like, and this wasn't one or two people. This was dozens. They said, do a premium expensive perk tier so I can back that. I was like, okay, so got the signed book.
We should do a trading card too. I don't know why you're against cards.
Like I said, I want to get at least one major campaign under my belt, just a book and a poster, and do that right and fulfill it on time. I mean, I did that right with the last one, but that was only like 1,800. That was just for a second printing. And this one, I have 10,000 plus goals of sales. So
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think I think this is a cool thing. But like I said, everything's changed. Things kind of change as they go along. My initial idea was everything should be signed because these are the red carpet premiere of our books, and then eventually they would hit the stores. I don't know if they still are. Are you planning on going to the direct market at this point?
Well, it's kind of a trick question because the idea was deal with Mark Waid, get a decision from a judge and jury, and then try it again, because I feel like there's no point in trying it right now if he's still going to interfere, because as I have, every indication that he still has those tendencies and still thinks he can get away with it.
Yeah.
But now he's just stretching that thing forever. I think that thing's going to be 2 full years by the time we get to court. It was started in September of last year and we still don't have the venue. I think that should be decided in August, 11 months. And then there's, my point is that there might not really be a direct market by the time I'm cleared hot to try for it again.
Yeah. People want a Jawbreakers condom perk. You could actually do it, dude.
Well, I really want to find the comforter, the granny quilt, because lots of people in other countries are like, I'm in Ireland and I have that exact quilt. I'm in the Philippines. So apparently that thing is sold far and wide. My buddy said he bought it at the Pool Gas, which is the flea market in here.
The granny quilt? What are you talking about?
You don't watch my videos, do you?
I watch most of your videos. What's the granny quilt?
When I review a comic, if I'm not in the car, I'm on my bed, and there's this really gross, very granny-ish quilt.
Oh yeah, your bedspread.
Yeah, so it's not a quilt. Some people call it a quilt.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find it to do a perk tier with that.
So people could all have the same bedspread as you.
And I need another one because that one's getting real raggedy. Because I wash it like 3 times a week. Because that's my office. I'm in that bed like 16 hours a day.
Yeah, that'd be something else. If you could actually.
So if anyone has it, and if you have it, you might have the mom closet where the plastic zippered bag it comes in. If anyone can tell me like the manufacturer and the name, I would buy 50 of those, and I would have a granny blanket. And that would be premium as hell. That'd probably be 150.
150. That should be like 500, and you should autograph it.
Yeah, I'll get some permanent ink and autograph it in a corner.
So this is the whole new thing. Zach's just got his God King book for the first time. It just got put up there. God King book and pin up $100. Did you do a bulk? You didn't do a bulk yet. Are you going to or no?
A book? I don't know what.
Well, a lot of people just say, "Well, I want 10 copies." Does that mean I have to buy this 10 times?
I've never gotten a demand for 10 copies. I think once I got one for 5. I might do a retailer perk. It would probably be a secret perk. I like to keep the front end because originally this sign was going to be limited to like 500, but then I was like, well, more people want it. And because I saw yours and Doug's like 2,500 people will pay for a signed thing. So I was like, yeah, okay. I don't really want to have more than 3 public perks. You can do secret perks, like I did to the one for the U.S. territories for the lowest price one, because I forgot to put them on. So if you're in the U.S. territories, there's an update that gives a link to that. I might do a secret perk for retailers. There's also something new that I haven't experimented with yet. It's called add-on perks.
What's that mean?
I'm guessing it means for an extra $5, you can get a trading card or something like that. So someone doesn't have to cancel their order and then start on another perk. You can just add it on. And I think that would be fun for the next one. I didn't notice that till I had already launched this thing. But I think in the next one, once I prove myself on a big one, then we can start doing, the $5 for a trading card and $10 for another extra pinup and stuff like that. That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I always wondered. I was thinking about this with Indiegogo last night. First of all, Indiegogo, it feels like a store. It feels a little bit like Amazon to us, but it isn't. And that's the thing. That's what's so frustrating about it, because I would really like it to be a shopping kind of expedition where somebody could kind of go, okay, these are the items that are available and this is how much they cost. So we've got the poster, we've got the card, we got the book, we got this, that. And then people could go through and check the things that they want and the number they want of them. And then that is what they, that is their backing. That's their order. That makes so much more sense. But the problem is then it becomes, purchasing something, and then tax implications are involved. Wow. Ava is stomping on the ceiling. I don't know if you can hear that. Theron Gale says courts in the West is woefully outdated and thoroughly subverted as a result. Literally don't have a way to prevent all deepfakes from destroying it all. When weaponized, they do their damage 100,000 times faster than the courts can debunk them. Deepfakes we're talking about here. Thank you, Theron Gale. Good information. I appreciate the $50 super chat. Nolan Nerd says, hey, Zach, I don't agree with your video that Donnie Cates is an overrated burnout. I love your channel and content, but your opinion of Absolute Carnage before it comes out is the kind of thing Mark Waid would do to your book. All right. You want to respond to that or no?
I'm usually of the opinion to not like counter people's opinions. They just have them or not. So whatever someone's opinion is, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. All right. Wow. You just passed 89,000. We're going to get to 90,000. I hope, guys, get in there and support God King. Please pick up what you'd like. But anyway, what I was saying before, this is the thing. Andrea and I are talking about Indiegogo, and she's like, well, there's sales tax for these books. And I'm like, there isn't, though. I mean, that's the thing. They're going to change this. The government is going to change this. There's no sales tax for Indiegogo. There's just income tax. And the reason why is because, and this is what confuses and perplexes everyone. This is why con artists can do Indiegogo campaigns and never fulfill them. Because Indiegogo does not guarantee that any project's ever going to happen or anyone's going to ever receive their perks.
Yeah, they added that, and that used to be hidden like in the boilerplate. And now I think it's like right when you click on something to order it, it says it just right there, I believe in bold, because they probably just got tired of contacted. Now, I guarantee you're going to get it, but Indiegogo does not.
That's the thing that we have to say. Like, I guarantee it. I guarantee Cyberfrog Blood Honey is going to be in all of your hands. Indiegogo doesn't guarantee that. They don't. That's not what they do. Indiegogo is just allowing when you're making a pledge, and this is why there's no sales tax. There's no sales tax because you're not purchasing a copy of Jawbreaker's God King. You're pledging at a tier. You're giving Zack the money to make the project.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the edgy thing that means that you don't have to pay sales tax for it because there's no item necessarily. It's not a purchase. You're donating money to his campaign, essentially. So it's a tricky thing. I think the government's going to get in there, though, and there's going to be sales tax. They're telling me within the next 4 years.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And in 4 years from now, we can both have paid, God, I'm blanking. I've been out of tech for too long. A guy what makes web pages. We can just both pay some guy to do a website that has some payment processing and then not have to give Indiegogo 7%.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind something like that happening. At that point, if sales tax does become a part of Indiegogo, and then it's no longer tiers backing something, it's officially a purchase at that point, then you'll be able to shop, I think. And I do like that idea a little bit better.
So speaking of shopping, and I heard this on one of the first, the funny thing is, I was traveling like right after I launched it. So you're like, hey, can you come on? I was like, I'm traveling. So there'd be like a Zack God King live stream, but then it would just be like you and Donald DeLay talking about cleaning your rain gutters or something like that. But you brought up the idea of confusion. You said you thought the perks were confusing.
Yours?
Yeah.
I never said that about you, did I?
I think so.
No, I wasn't talking about you. Yours are easy as pie. I don't think I meant you because it says very simply God. Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, I remember. Yeah, because you had Jawbreaker's Lost Souls in here too.
Yeah. So it's down at the bottom. It's faded out because it's sold out.
Got it.
So the deal with the easiest way to explain this, and it's going to be that in every book I do, for almost all the books except for like the ones that by Canales does, the title of the book is going to be the title of the main story, but there's also going to be backup stories. These are not anthologies, but it's main story and backup stories. It's like an annual. So God King is the culmination of the God King storyline that was introduced in Lost Souls. There's going to be an illustrated summary. People are going to flip out when they see the art for this illustrated summary. It's a guy I'm testing out to see if he can work on other things. Actually, it's the thing that we talk about sometimes. I'm kind of testing him out for that one.
Oh, cool.
But when you see the art, you're going to be like, oh yeah, this guy's perfect for that thing. So I list all the stories, and then but my main model is main story and then backup story. So this is God King. It's the main story is God King, and then it has some backup stories, and then it has a summary at the beginning to catch you up on the God King storyline.
Yeah. Oh my god! All right, so everything's. I mean, basically, when you do a comic book, it is like 120 pages, and there are a bunch of different stories in it, and you just want to let people know that the stories that you were talking about are going to appear in this book.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is. I
so
got
this
it.
one has the finale of God King, and it's a really big, like, I would call it like Endgame. You know, so there's a little summary to catch you up, and then it's like an Endgame type of story, like big stakes, and then there's a story about Zashi coming back as a changed entity, let's say. And then there's the Devil Dog Origin written by Chuck Dixon. That one was actually going to go out in stores. That was going to be like a regular floppy. But because I thought I thought the whole lawsuit was going to be done like in 6 to 9 months. So that ended up being a backup story. And then we got a preview of that sci-fi book from next. Well, not like preview, like a little prequel story to that. So it's a main story and then 3 backups.
Excellent. So it's a lot. You're getting a lot for your money here.
Oh yeah.
Support your boy Zack. Let's get him to 90,000. We're about 800, and Zack's got lung cancer. There's something up with you, dude. You got to look into that. It's crazy.
Well, you know what it is? Actually, I think I know what it is.
What?
There was a leak in the wall, and my buddy. Okay, so my buddy said he doesn't want to. He's like, stop talking about me. Yeah. So I go, okay. So an unknown entity that also lives in this house, who owns the house, is a little frugal. So I kept saying, it's like, dude, I'll pay for these repairs, but you know, all the workers down here, they speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. And then I've been traveling a lot. So there got to be a lot of water in the walls, so you can kind of smell it, you know, in the bathroom. So I think I'm breathing in some mold or something.
You're breathing in black mold, dude. What the Zack, we got a spare room. Come over here. Come stay with us. I think you'd be happy.
So finally, they're supposed to come like tomorrow, and I think it's going to be a major thing because I kept telling him, I was like, fix it. He's like, it's fine. It'll work its way. No, pipes don't work themselves out. Pipes need people to bust through the wall and replace, fix them. So they finally did it. So that's probably it.
Somebody's like, you're going to get mesothelioma.
Yeah, I'm going to get into that sweet lawsuit they always advertise during Judge Judy.
All right, Zack, you ready to look at some articles here with me and talk about some stuff? And we'll come back to Jawbreaker's God King, the graphic novel. Those of you who haven't backed yet, or if you have backed and you want to throw a little more support behind your boy Zack, please do it. We have, how many people do we have watching right now? We've got 1,534 people watching right now. The link to Cyberfrog Blood Honey is also in there if you haven't backed that one yet. Me and Zack are going to look at the main story right now, Zack. I don't know why this is happening all the time.
Please tell me blue-haired weirdos doing some. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. You're looking at the new James Bond. You're looking at the new 007.
So this is my deal. That always got me in trouble. And then I kind of learned how to explain. I was on Antonio Bryce, and he's like, he goes, it feels like you're back, but you got soft there for a little while. And I was like, well, I was basically trying to learn how to say the same thing without getting myself hemmed up. Bond girls are supposed to look like dream girls or supermodels. They're not supposed to look like the average woman. They're now doing this. Anyone can be a Bond girl. And the other thing they're doing is they're purposefully making women who are pretty or average look worse than they do. Yeah. Lashana Lynch has purposefully, did you see her hairdo in Captain Marvel? Mm-hmm. This Mo Howard ridiculous haircut.
Horrible.
And they're doing the same thing to, what's her name? Cameron from *Halt and Catch Fire* in the new Terminator. They gave her the Lloyd Christmas haircut. This is not by accident. They are purposefully making, I bet, now I know this is political. Can you imagine how pretty this woman would be if she was smiling right now?
She's not. She's smirking at you like she's sick.
Can you imagine how pretty she would be if she did not have the hairdo of, I don't know,
Michael Jackson as a kid.
College age LeBron James. Actually, LeBron wishes he ever had that hairline. They are purposefully making women look masculine. They are purposely emotionally blackmailing them about trying to look pretty, smiling. If she was smiling and she had long hair, you could say, okay, I can see her as a Bond girl. No. This is like a Bond girl's feminist sister. She's like,
no, Zach, you're not
James
getting
Bond's
it.
problematic, right?
This is not a Bond girl. This is 007. This is James Bond. Okay.
Wait, holy shit! I just assumed I didn't even see the title right there. Is this real?
This is real. All right, so let's read this and get ready. By the way, can I just say, Lashana Lynch, despite what everyone said, fucking sucked in Captain Marvel.
She was awful.
She was horrible in that movie. She is a blank on the screen. She's a 0 on the screen.
What was that line? It's like, he's like, this young woman. She's like, you call me young woman, I'm gonna kill you and castrate you. It's like, what? Where did that come from?
Just angry. Just
It's like a 65. Wasn't it Sam Jackson who said that?
I think so. Yeah.
Sam Jackson's like 68 years old. She's like 30. Of course, you would call her a young woman. Also, isn't there like an invasion you should be more worried about?
Look at this little smirk here. Look at this little Look at the little corner of the mouth. This is such mental illness. It's SJW mental illness. It's everywhere. Eyebrow raised a little bit, looking at you like, yeah, I know what you're up to. I said, could you just please join the human race and just look at people and smile? Is it so hard? Could you just send off signals that are not hateful? We're all animals. Human beings are part of the animal kingdom, and we all send each other signals with our eyes and our gestures, our body language. Oh, yeah. It's like it reassures people. It's really offsetting. And you want to talk about like a hate movement? This is a hate movement. These people are hateful. This attitude is hateful, and propagating it and encouraging it.
Well, the thing you mentioned, and you probably noticed this as well because you're a freelancer for your career. Mm-hmm. There'll be times where I don't leave the house for 3 days, and I noticed that when I would first go out, people get like nervous, but because I was like this weird hunchback to like weirdo, just like beelining to get food, probably dressed all schlubby. And so I started going, I was like, oh yeah, I had to like remember like humans, you know what I mean? Like stand up straight, smile, nod at people, have a little chit chat at the, at the checkout.
Yeah.
So now I look forward to, going out, normal people. It's great. But for a while there, I was just like this weird, just monster. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, the signals, one of the things we talk about, like with, the soy boys and the SJWs is they put out these very primal signals of, malignancy, maliciousness. I mean, the blue hair, the purple hair, the green hair, that's a sign there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
You are warned. If you get close, I'm going to do something bad to you because that's my joy.
No, if I notice you, I'm going to do something bad to you. You don't have to get close. You can stay away from these people. I encourage it. They're still coming after you. I mean, they're still going to come after you. All right, so here we go. Captain Marvel star Lashana Lynch's role in Bond 25 will reportedly have audiences dropping their popcorn in shock. Lashana's role has been kept under wraps, but sources close to the production have now claimed that Phoebe Waller-Bridge's rewrite. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, wasn't that L337?
No, she did some like Amazon Prime Video hit, and now all of a sudden she, rocketing to the top. There is this is the environment, right? Oh my God, I just looked up Lashana Lynch.
Yeah.
Her Wikipedia page. She has lipstick, long hair, she's smiling.
No, I did. Wait a second here. I can't type for anything right now.
Oh no, it's like the summary page has that, and then the other one is like short hair. Honest, I'm gonna say this. I'm
right.
Out of your sales.
I'm right. This is a conspiracy. Hold on a second. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is L337 from Solo. That's her acting. She may have written some stuff, and I'm sure she has. But this is all incestuous. The SJW element within Solo was L337, and that's Phoebe Waller-Bridge. God damn it.
Okay, so this is the New York Post also reporting this. So one thing I got to say, as someone who's been following, the Bond movies, is the Bond movies are the worst for ridiculous, untrue rumors. So I haven't read this, so go ahead and
let's go through this. Yeah, we'll go through it. But I want you to understand, we've got Lashana Lynch agent from Captain Marvel, the SJW movie Captain Marvel. We've got Phoebe Waller-Bridge, L337, the feminist droid from Solo that Lando Calrissian was having sex with. Boom. She wrote this. She took the script to 007's next movie and ran it through a rewrite, and that's going to mean this. Now that this is a moment we can't wait to see. James Bond fans will know that the spy retired at the end of Spectre, and as Bond 25 opens, he will be living a life of luxury in Jamaica. However, soon we will return to M16 in London, and the insider reveals that there's the pivotal scene at the start of the film where M says, "Come in, 007," and in walks Lashana Lynch, who is black, beautiful, and a woman. With Bond in retirement, it makes sense for the agency to pass on his code name to another agent, and here we are. We are here for it being a woman. It's a popcorn dropping moment. Bond is still Bond, but he's been replaced as 007 by this stunning woman. She's stunning and brave. There she is. Did she look stunning and brave here? Out of all the women standing here, she's the least stunning or the least. What is she wearing? Oh, she's wearing a potato sack, and she's just looking. She looks miserable. Everyone else here is sexy. They're showing some form. What the fuck? Why do we have to do this? And
hey, did your expectations get subverted?
No, not anymore. I'm not. My expectations are for this to continue, but this is just like the comic book conspiracy. The SJWs, the 12 weirdos in comics, and how they're connected to certain people. You can map out these connections now. It's becoming clear. Lashana Lynch is connected to Brie Larson, with Captain Marvel. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, added the SJW elements to Solo. She rewrites James Bond and inserts Lashana Lynch in there to become the next 007. They're all connected. These people are all connected. My trebuchet needs to get built, Zach. I'm building Trebuchet Guevara, which is an enormous trebuchet, which is going to launch 25,000 soy boys at once out of the galaxy. 25,000 or just Gail Simone once, and all of them out of the solar system. We got to get them out of here. They're ruining everything. I mean, this is ruination. They're Terminator, the Terminator movie that's going to kill that franchise. And they got to kill James Bond. Everything that's about, all right, everything that was made for men, everything that all men like.
Are you saying this is some sort of aggressive anti-male conspiracy?
Yeah, I'm drawing the broad outlines of what I.
Yeah, me too. Me too. This can only happen so many times to so many franchises, and the future is female. Okay, so Hobson Shaw is going to make $500 billion. There's a thing that people like, and there's a thing that normal women, which is most women, which is the super majority, like. They like masculine action heroes. They want to see James Bond save the world, get the girl. Women want to see that. Again, this is just a stupid thing of SJW politics. And honestly, the last Bond was not very good. So I definitely see this one underperforming because I do not want to see James Bond be replaced by a woman they were purposely making unattractive. And then to have a little tweak, it's like, oh, you were going to hit on me? Heterosexuality. So 20th century. She's going to be wearing a pantsuit.
Yeah.
She is.
So, yeah, I think this doesn't matter. I mean, people are like, yeah, but the movie's going to lose money. I don't think that the conspiracy involves, I don't think it needs to succeed in order to succeed. I think the plan is to kill these franchises. I don't think we're ever going to live in a world, and I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic about that because of this. But I really don't think we're ever going to live in a world in which this is what men are. I mean, these people exist, and these guys are going to be so excited about the new James Bond movie. That's fabulous. But the reality is, no, men, just normal guys. Guys that work, truck drivers. People that really think, that drink beers and watch these movies, have a good time, are not going to accept this. They're just not going to be like, oh, yeah, James Bond is now a woman and she's black and it's all being written by an SJW. in your face toxic masculinity. People are not going to go along with this. So the other alternative, either way they win. Either this movie makes a cajillion dollars and take that, you incels, or the franchise dies and now there's no more James Bond movies coming out to indoctrinate normal men into heterosexuality. One of the two. Either way they win. It's a good scheme.
These are just awful people. Just awful.
Yeah.
By the way, on the top of that page 6, I had to click on it. There's an article, at least for me, it says Horatio Sands is the life of the party at West Village Cocktail Bar. And that's literally it. The whole story is just he was at a bar and made 2 jokes, and that's the whole story.
Fascinating.
I'm losing my mind.
All right, so that's the thing. So we got this going on, and right when you came in, Zach, before you were coming in, I was reading this article here. So we're attacking men's ideas of what men are, okay, and what men should like, and the role of men in pop culture and everything, and how important that is. It's not important. Obviously, James Bond is not Sean Connery. James Bond could be Lashana Lynch or whatever this woman's name is. Of course, it's like break out of the box, think outside of the box, and start examining why you as a man really feel like it's necessary that you only look up to other men who behave in ways that are traditionally masculine. Why couldn't you admire Lashana Lynch in that same role? Why? Now, while that whole conversation is happening and while that bit of programming is going on, in the meantime, here's a nice article about an art tutor at an art school, high school kids. And she's trying to reprogram boys about what the idea of beautiful is when it comes to women. And of course she is. Of course she is. I work as an art tutor for high schoolers. The way they choose to portray female bodies is deeply worrying, Zach. It's easy to help students with skills, but more difficult to change their perceptions of beauty. Iris Lay here. I work as an art tutor for high school students. One of the most difficult obstacles I've faced is getting my students to draw realistic women's bodies in their works. Zach, she wants them to draw fat chicks. She wants these boys to draw. That's difficult for her. She's trying to get them. Like you can draw anything in the world. Remember when you said with regards to Tom King, Batman can be anybody. Why has he got to be you?
Yeah.
The same principles at work here. It's like you can draw, if you're going to draw a woman, you can draw anything. Why would it be this fat woman? Why you would draw the most beautiful woman you could, presumably, unless you were making fun of someone.
And it's also the same thing with little girls when they start to draw. Everything they draw, they always draw, these princess fairy girls. Mm-hmm. This is, I think the simplest thing is SJWs are obsessed with making abnormal normal and normal abnormal. Yeah. 99% of humans, especially when they're kids, you say draw a woman, I'm going to draw a pretty woman, or I'm going to draw a scary witch. But now, Lena Dunham is beautiful. This is what peak performance looks like. No, stop. The normal people, that's one of the things I like about other cultures. They still haven't been infected by this. So, in India or Asia, and actually it's still most of Europe, no, they're like, the visual medium, yes, make that woman beautiful, make her more beautiful.
Yeah, look at Bollywood. I mean, Bollywood women are absolutely fantastic. They're just beautiful. The best of the best are what appear on the movie screen over there. And
that's got, I think, like per person, it's the most profitable, whatever you call that, movie industry.
Yeah,
like a regional movie industry, and they're popular outside of India because everyone's just going to be. It's very photogenic. That's the thing because it's a visual medium.
Unhinged Crank pays $2. He wants you to say, "I'm your Huckleberry."
I was actually thinking about that. I was like, I'm the Doc Holliday of the group now. Definitely.
That's awesome. All right. So many of my students are first introduced to the world of illustration through the gaming and animation industries. That's what got them interested. Consequently, their art reflects the culture they've been exposed to. For me, illustration should be used as a visual tool for communication and self-expression. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so these kids are communicating. They grew up watching, or what is that, Nier Automata or Tomb Raider and they say, I want to draw Lara Croft. I want to draw whatever the girl from Nier Automata is, the one with the half mask. So what she's saying is, I want to control what these kids like. So they're expressing themselves. They're like, this is a fairy princess. She's like, is it though? Is it?
A number of my students illustrate female bodies in unrealistically distorted, not distorted. They're in shape. They're physically fit. That's not distorted, sexualized ways. It's distressing to realize that those bodies are what they project onto themselves and that they don't realize the problem at hand.
So she's saying that girls draw women beautifully and ideally.
Well, I think she's saying boys mostly, but did she say girls? Did she imply
Well,
girls?
she said she was women, and then she says sees themselves.
Oh,
So
they
I'm
project
assuming-
that onto themselves. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right about that. I work as a portfolio tutor for high schoolers. Often I find it difficult to talk to my students about how to draw realistic female bodies. By the way, this is self-image of SJW. Right here. You're looking at their self-image. They see themselves as cute and innocent with, these kind of very simple expressions of sort of just, skepticism on their face. But this is, when you look at their avatars, these people are doing tremendous damage to society. But they always portray themselves as very whimsical and cute. They have little cartoon avatars of themselves as animals or, looking much better than they do. Ironically, why did you choose to present her body this way? And here's a little boy. He's like, no reason. I sketched this way. Is there anything wrong with that? Yes, it makes me feel bad about myself.
Here, this is it. No, that's fine. I was just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Look at even the body language on the kid. Like he's all nervous. Like, oh, I'm in trouble. This blue-haired weirdo is going to frickin' rat me out.
She does have blue hair too. That's funny. I try to tell my students, you may want to draw nude bodies based on observation rather than imagination, which I pointed out sounded like this teacher wanted to get naked.
No, that's the episode of Different Strokes with the bike shop owner. Isn't this how it started?
That's her dress falls to the floor at this point. Oh my God, the horror. Get your pencil out. You're going to draw a mommy art tutor. It sounds horrible. Nobody has the perfect body. That's not true. You don't. If you're complaining about it, you don't. That's something.
Well, look at the rest of the sentence. That's where it really gets there.
Yeah, and imperfection helps the audience relate to your work.
That's just pure mental illness. I'm excited about Hobbs and Shaw. There is no way I will ever be in shape like The Rock. And I think it's awesome that he's in shape like that.
Yeah, what is this?
And people love The Rock. So they're selling, if, The Rock's, he's balding. So if he grew out his hair, he looked like Danny DeVito, put on, got some man boobs, people would relate with him more? No. They relate with him because he's a likable, fun guy who seems like he would be your friend no matter what you are.
But his physicality, though, when it comes to that, it's not about relating. It's not like beautiful people who are just, perfectly put together, who work night and day on their bodies. It's for some reason it's reassuring. It's like, no, this is possible. This is what the human form can aspire to be.
It's admirable. Yeah,
exactly. It's something to be kind of respected. And I don't think that these people are actually threatened by it. They're so insecure.
If you follow these people, they're on their press junket and they're in Indonesia and they're, Instagramming at 6 a.m. I'm here in the hotel gym, put in that work. Terry Crews worth whatever, $30 million. He's still in the hotel gym at 6 a.m.
What is this? I mean, there's something about just running other people down, running down people who actually have achieved something in order that their failure be less evident.
Yeah. It's like that accomplishment doesn't count. Why? 400, 800,000 on Indiegogo. That doesn't count. Why doesn't it count? Like they're always taking things that work. That doesn't count. It's always very self-serving. I'm pear-shaped, therefore pear-shaped is the ideal body. Don't draw people who are in better shape because that makes me feel bad, even if you think it's visually appealing or admirable. So why do these people who don't want children always gravitate towards them? Towards kids, towards changing kids. Yeah. What is this? I'm a art art portfolio tutor. That's a very specific life choice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is what SJWs do. They want to put themselves in positions of influence and power. And this is the thing. It's a very small job. This is not, taking over Marvel Comics and making it SJW and therefore broadcasting to a wide audience your SJW bullshit. But it does have an effect. You're actually saying, I'm going to station myself here where I can do a lot of harm to dozens of people's lives and dozens of people's perceptions of themselves and what art is and what the world should be. I mean, it's an aggressive thing. All SJWs are aggressive in that they're trying
very aggressive. I remember years ago talking to this guy and I was describing Gail Simone as passive aggressive, and he goes, "What?
Yeah,
what's passive? This is just because you say something in a fake cutesy tone doesn't mean it's not wholly aggressive. These people work every day to destroy strangers. Sometimes for doing just one thing that displeased them 10 years ago. And they will hound them to the ends of the earth."
So they gotta get kids while they're young. They've got to get kids. Look, if you've got an army of this person here going to art schools and telling kids to stop representing something that's objectively beautiful and change it into something that's her subjective idea of what beauty is, which is just not beauty, which is just not beautiful by any standard. You've got kids drawing potatoes with legs, like egg women. I called them eggs with legs earlier, which was pretty good. Then therefore there's no longer anything to aspire to. These people have removed failure. They've removed judgment and failure from the board, from the playing board, by taking out the winners, by actually removing.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely it. I mean, these people who sell 700 copies are trying to take out the people who sell $700,000. Yeah. I mean, it's absolute insanity. And one of the things I always say is, aren't they embarrassed? If Marvel hired me and I was writing a Domino book and it sold less than 30,000, I would be humiliated.
Yeah, but you know what the thing about it is Gail Simone isn't concerned about her book selling. Gail Simone and people around Gail, so not just Gail in particular, but SJWs only want Gail to be occupying that spot.
Exactly, yeah.
If you
notice, I noticed that every time Gail was taken off a book for low sales or bad behavior, always, what's her next book? What? Mm-hmm. What? Why? She got taken off of this book. Why would? Oh, okay, we got to give her. And if it wouldn't be the same company, somebody else would step up. Boom or IDW or whoever. Well, okay. Gail's got a book. All right, she's writing, Transformers now. And it was very much understood that Gail is always going to have a book.
Absolutely. Draco, thanks for $10. He says, any tips on making sure your female characters aren't Mary Sue's? I worry about accidentally turning my characters into Mary Sue's like Ray or Cat Pan Marvel. You know what? If you're not an SJW, it's really hard to make a Mary Sue character.
Yeah, you're going to just subconsciously give her things to not make her a Mary Sue. Like you said, it's an active choice to constantly make them a Mary Sue.
Yeah, 100%. Let's take a break real quick and let's just remind people about Jawbreaker's God King. There's 1,700 people watching right now. If you haven't yet backed Jawbreaker's God King, the graphic novel, this is the long-awaited sequel to Jawbreaker's Lost Soul, which was a big hit. Zack, you want to give people the rundown on what it's about?
Yeah, so God King is the culmination of the God King storyline. This is basically almost like an Endgame, a Dark Knight Returns, a Watchmen, but with a more fun style like Guardians of the Galaxy. So there was this, this era of superheroes that were all kind of moderately powered. They were like the Daredevil, Gambit, Spider-Man era. And then a lot of them had kids, and all of their kids were Dr. Manhattan. So they're like, what the? I did not see that coming. So basically, all the parents got outclassed. So they either quit, or my group, the Jawbreakers, they went and become mercenaries. They became the Expendables. So what happened is there was this character called God King who ended up picking off all of these, Dr. Manhattan's level threats, absorbing their power, using it to power his machines. And now he's taken over New York City. Silkworm's daughter, Ish, basically says, you're the only ones left. We need you to come take him out. And this guy he has earned his name as a God King. Like They went to Manhattan. They stepped onto the shore. Their guns transformed into rose petals and flew away in the breeze. The plane that was bringing them there, it got within a mile of the airspace. It exploded. So there are these guys, these low-level, street-level superheroes taking on a god, and this is the it's almost like a D-Day type of situation. Like, it's heavy, heavy stakes. So it's a lot of fun. It's got this amazing Aaron Alfici art. It's got a definitive ending, and then there's also these really good backup stories in the book, and it's almost done. Like, at the end, when is this done? 25 days. In 25 days, it will all be done. Then it's just make the print file. And I got a professional doing that. He did the Jawbreakers Lost Souls Remastered. People are like, this is beautiful. It's perfect. So we got that guy. We got all the pieces. Mark Wade, about 10 months of delays, total. Because I had to learn everything for a company. But now we got the whole team. We got the good printer. We got the good fulfillment service. We got the good digital pre-press doing the print file. That's huge. So now it's just put it out there. And the other thing is that I listen to the people who had their comments, and they go, stop rushing things and explain things more. So this God King, it was actually just the last 25 pages of the story. So I expanded it to 44. There's a lot more room to breathe, and it gives these great Aaron Alfici, these giant mechs going down the streets of Manhattan. So it is a big story, and I think you're gonna absolutely love it.
I love the way it looks. Great coloring. I love this green sequence here. It's really, really nice, man.
Yeah. So there's two actual coloring schemes. If you see the one at the top with Devil Dog, that's kind of realistic colors because that's his origin in Afghanistan. And but I was telling, and we actually experimented on the look with the colors. It's the same colorist. And I said, do you remember the Ultimates? I forget if it was 2 or 3. It was Joe Madureira, Jeff Loeb. It was like 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, sure.
It had this really extreme coloring style. It was very like lurid and saturated and borderline overdone. But I loved it because this is like a nightmare scenario. They're going up against a villain that is way too powerful to them, and they're paying the price. And it's like D-Day. Like, who can get through this meat grinder? You know what I mean? Type of thing. So that's what it's, and they're facing a lot of, darkness from their past. And you're seeing, if you scroll down, you can see Silkworm and Cuffs getting ready to square up because they're having some disagreements on how to handle this very intense, right there, situation. So, so I was really excited about it. We kind of went back and forth about how extreme can we make it. And it's just push it and push it and push it.
It's just beautiful artwork, absolutely beautiful, great colors. This looks like a great project, a great book, and it's available now. It's only been up for a little while. You've already outdone last time. I mean, last time it took a long time to get to 90,000. So I've been comparing, like, every day. I'll compare, like, the first 5 days of this one compared to Lost Souls, and I believe yesterday, the total we got in 5 days is the total it took us like 18 days last year. One of the big things, SJWs, they're always going to lie. And it's just always, they'll just, this, then that doesn't happen. This, the book won't come out. The book won't look good. You can't repeat it. Mm-hmm. It's been like 160%, 175% of the same time period from last year. And we saw that with Mike Miller. He did like 130% of what he did on his previous one. And then, of course, Doug Tenopel did like 250, 300%. The thing is, we're going out there, we're proving ourselves. I think actually, how with the Star Wars movies, the next one pays the price for the last one? Yeah.
I think it's a little flipped with this one. I think there was a lot of people who were interested in Lost Souls, who were interested in Iron Sights 1, but they said, this guy hasn't proven himself. Then you prove himself, and then it loosens up those wallets. They go, okay, all right, cool, yeah, he delivered it. I heard good things.
People are pretty excited about this. We've got the combo pack here. But this is the main one. This just got added today. God King book and pinup signed. You're going to sign the books, and this is just it's an exclusive perk that just got added, an exclusive tier for $100. Zach's going to autograph your book. You're probably not going to meet Zach. I mean, maybe one day. We might do a convention or something like that, but probably not. If you want to get Zack's autograph because you realize that Zack is, a pretty important creator and a pretty important part of Comicsgate, and you might want to actually pledge at the $100 tier and get the signed Guy King book and pinup. What's the pinup of? Do you know yet?
Oh yeah, it's going to be Sashi 2.0, which is Sashi's new look. It's drawn by Am I saying this right? Zashi is the character, Sashi is the artist. So she's done the pinups for Lost Souls. She does basically pinup art. So I have her do pinups. Although I think in the future I'm gonna have to have what I call jealous girlfriend and Middle Eastern country alternate because I did get some comments. They're like, this did not make it through customs. I go, what country are you in? They're like, Saudi Arabia. It's like, oh yeah, that one's gonna not. And I got a couple jealous girlfriend, jealous wife comments. But I think
they'll yank the pinup out and they won't let it go through. I mean,
they'll just reject the entire thing, or they will rip it out and put like a little note in there. But I think in the future, because you can do all these things. I think in the future I'm gonna have multiple choices, and then you can pick which one you want. Yeah,
that's a good idea. It's a good idea. So this is great, guys. If you want to support this, if you haven't yet backed Jawbreakers, you need to support it. This is going to be a great book, really, really high quality, and I don't know, man. I don't know, one of the most important voices of the culture war when it comes to comics, your boy Zack. So make sure to support this. And plus, he's dying, and he's not.
Yeah, this gets to be scarcity, limited amount. Like get a signature of an obviously dying creator.
That's so true.
Have you heard the thing about Brian Boland with his digital art?
Yeah.
That somebody was telling me in the original art scene, they said his original art, drawing on it, inking on a artboard, is now at the level of a dead artist because his new stuff is all digital, supposedly. So he's not making a lot more money, but his old stuff is skyrocketing.
Yeah, no, I mean, all of his old stuff, because there isn't very much of it. Getting a page from Killing Joke, I mean, be prepared to invest almost $100,000. It's crazy. The market for his work is crazy. And as soon as these guys all flip over to digital, I don't understand why they do it. I really don't get it. I guess
it's insane. People, every campaign, they're like, oh, can we get some of that John Malin art? I talked to John. He's like, I'm all digital.
Yeah.
Aaron is all digital. Now, I know there's reasons it's faster, but I know there's people like Mitch Gerads and Jason Fabok. When they get that page that's, Batman punching the Joker, in front of the Catwoman, they will go ink that in real life because they know they're going to make a couple grand off of that. I wish people would do like a hybrid, pick a couple and traditionally ink them. But honestly, some people, I don't think they have traditional inking skills. Like they've always digitally inked, so they don't know how. I mean, it's a lot of. I'm sure you've spilled a bottle of ink over a page before, right?
Once or twice.
You use rapidograph.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
You ever had one just explode and just destroy a page or something like that?
Yeah, maybe early on. I understand the risk, but it's a very tiny risk. I mean, it just doesn't. It's not something that needs to be worried about.
Well, yeah. So you blue line it over. Go to the whatever place that prints it out, and then if you spill it, you can fix it digitally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish I might even start talking to people in the future. Like, hey, can you do a couple of these?
Yeah, and I think in the future, just for their own sake, you should say, look, we're going to add a tier where we sell your original art for like $1,000 a page, and you're going to make $48,000. You should probably draw on paper, numbskull, at least for these. I mean, you really should. It's just my opinion. It works. Doug TeNaples doing it. Doug TeNaples sold I think most of his original artwork for Earthworm Jim. If he hasn't yet, he will. And it doesn't make sense. It's not worth it. Is it worth it for ease? He's got 125 pages. He's selling at like $900 each. Yeah, $120,000. I don't know.
I got one of those pages, and he said he's going to send me one of Earthworm Jim because I felt kind of bad. I kept telling him, he's like, hey, can you're going to review Bigfoot Bill? It's like, the problem is like, it's so nice. My OCD was like, tomorrow. So I missed the whole campaign, but then I guess I talked about it in some stuff towards the end, and he hit me up. He goes, he goes, you're in my top 10 influencers. I guess you can look that up somewhere. He goes, you were in the top 10 of sending traffic to me. I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, I'm going to send you original art piece. Like, great.
Yeah.
So I do need to get to that one. I've actually been like taking it all across the country. I was like, oh, I'm going here. I'm going to, read this as a hotel. And then I get to the hotel. It's like, oh, it's a hotel. It's not exactly clean. So it's just been traveling all over the country with me.
Yeah. I read it. I read Bigfoot Bill. I thought it was pretty good. I have no respect for comics though, like new comics, because they're just everywhere. So I don't mind. I would read it. I'd read it in the bathtub. I'd take it in the swimming pool.
1,500 pages. I've done 1,500 pages. You're on my level.
I know. All right. Yeah. So in any case, all right. So let's get back to this here. I like your comic. But have you tried drawing characters that are not so skinny, not so perfect, like a Barbie doll? Have you tried doing that? He's like, well, why?
Look at the kid. Look at the kid standing up for himself and his right to express himself to this childless witch.
He's wearing a dress. I think that's a girl with short hair.
Oh, it's a girl? Well, that's even better. She's standing up to, being propagandized and brainwashed.
These are they're comic book pages on the floor. Could you please draw ugly people? Makes me feel weird that everyone's pretty.
Exactly. It's all about the SJW. What's the cellulite? Where's the cellulite on Wonder Woman? This makes me feel sad. I'm 44 and you're 12, but you made me feel sad. You need to change, not me. You.
Yeah.
How many neuroses do you have? One? Get on my level, bitch.
I like the drawing. She's drinking a soda casually. How about stop drinking the soda, dipshit?
This is like in the Vietnam movies where the torturer is like eating an apple in front of the starving, POW. Yeah. I'm just super casual. I drink sodas and I brainwash kids.
Your comic is about self-expression. Is the comic about self-expression or is it about superheroes? So what does your body look like? Does it look this way?
Stranger danger.
Holy shit. What a weird thing to... No, but I don't want to draw a chubby girl. It doesn't look pretty. Art can go beyond being pretty.
Seriously, get this woman away from this kid. Like, this is... No. Why would... And look at even the body language on this harangued child.
Yeah. Holding your arm.
I just wanted to draw Supergirl.
And this person's having a great time drinking a soda.
Oh, she's super happy. She's in her wheelhouse.
This is my opportunity to shame you for having traditional ideas about what's beautiful. Look at me.
God, these are the worst people.
So I have to be politically correct to get into colleges? No, this is not about political correctness. No, it isn't. It's about your deep-seated mental illness. That's what it's about. They go hand in hand, though. Okay, I will uglify her.
Damn, got her. Got that bitch. Go out. Walk in the street.
That's not what I meant. Now look, we're freaking out.
And spilling the soda, gesticulating wildly around an obviously upset child. And again, this is made by the person saying that they're on the right side of history.
That's right. And basically,
this goddamn 11-year-old just doesn't understand.
Just called me ugly. In essence, just called me ugly. Called my ideas ugly. That's not what I ment. You should be drawing a normal, realistic person. Somebody you would see walking down the street.
Why? Why? She just said person. We're talking. We're both getting angry. You just said personal expression. This little girl is expressing herself, and this evil middle-aged woman, who I guarantee does not have that kind of shape in real life, is haranguing her. Also, just the thing of like the gesticulating, like. When you're around kids, you're supposed to keep it real even tempered. You know what I mean? Because they really pick up on any little thing, This is not appropriate.
It's inappropriate. It's also extremely presumptuous. And it's like, what do you mean? Why does he need, or why does she need to draw a normal, realistic person? She's saying you should. Based on what? Based on whose ideas?
The mental illness of a middle-aged Hillary supporter? Like, what is this?
It's infuriating. By the way, we're going to look up and we're going to see what this woman actually looks like just for fun. Okay. I don't really want to draw people who aren't good looking.
Wait. So they just left that story at the end.
That was it.
Like she just threw that little girl, that distraught girl under the bus. She's like, well, I've done my work for the day. Now on to another superhero, saving of people from themselves.
The end. It just
how I think in their mind, they think, oh yeah, one of my friends is going to say, oh yeah, that is how it is. And not the normal person go, you're abusing this child.
Yeah.
You're abusing this child.
And you're wrong, by the way. You're 100% wrong. This is not a fact. You should.
And the kid is picking up. The kid knows this. There's something troubled about this adult, and I'm stuck with her.
Yeah.
And she's flying off the handle.
I will try to.
She's asking what my body looks like, and I'm 12.
I don't really want to draw people who aren't good looking. Yeah, I understand, but you can't draw only model-like skinny girls. Your project isn't depicting a fashion show. How do you know?
No, she absolutely, that person, whatever that person is, they can, for their entire life, only draw model-like skinny girls. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Do you notice me and you sound like the hippies? Do what you want. You're free. Express yourself. We sound like hippie art teachers in 1977.
Yeah.
And then the so-called progressives are like, here's the very rigid set of rules you have to follow for your entire life. We'll let you waive, your infractions when you were younger than 10. But 11 and 12, very problematic behavior.
So weird.
Don't get canceled. 13-year-old.
What do you want to do? Like, now there's this insistence that people reflect the world. They're saying reflect the world the way it is, or in all of its disappointments, all of its faults. That's not what art necessarily is supposed to be. Most people consider art to be depicting beauty. It could be something else, but the exaggeration of form and just idealism. There's nothing. This is art. Saying you shouldn't do that is 100% wrong. It's not what art is. You're not an art tutor. You're trying to reprogram him and reprogram what he's doing or what she's doing to match your aesthetic of failure. And by the way, yeah, I kind of do want to look up and see what this author looks like, if only to prove that she's doing the same thing with herself. I'm pretty sure you're right. She doesn't look like this. So why wouldn't she be depicting herself with all of her flaws accurately, even though it's just a stick figure cartoon? This is an idealized, beautiful, very young. This looks like a 12-year-old girl. Why does she depict herself like this when I'm sure she doesn't look like this at all? For the same reasons. This is a pleasing drawing. This is a pleasing little drawing. That's why you want to please the eyes. You don't need to upset everything. Not everything has to be Lena Dunham, unfortunately. No, you can't build a portfolio solely with images of pretty girls posing in pretty environments doing nothing. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. That's called being a fashion designer. A portfolio should not look like a Photoshop Miss World calendar. Based on what is this based on? No. I write email after email with the same sentiment. This is not working.
Oh, she can't evening.
At times I feel tired and powerless seeing these issues pop up again and again. It also surprises me that so many students have a hard time depicting a realistic human body. As a tutor, it is easy to help students with skills, but it's so much more difficult to change their mind.
Thank goodness there are kids who have their own minds and are rejecting this evil woman's propaganda. Look at her. I just got to live in this world where people don't do what I say. You're supervillains. Why do you all think and act like supervillains?
Look at this. This is them. This is the pain. It hurts their head that people recognize.
Well, that's like this lawsuit. I keep, when I think about it, I go, this was a man in his late 50s who went apeshit because a guy he didn't like was making a book that was going to exist in the world. Stop trying to control the whole world like Dr. Doom, you freak shows. Do you ever go to the grocery store and just get bothered? Like, I just know there's some people in here who don't think exactly like me on every single subject.
Yeah, I think that way about my chat right now. I'm like, these guys aren't all agreeing with me 100%.
Did you see my review of Ignited #2 by Kwanzaa and Mark Wade?
Haven't seen it yet.
You got to see it. This is, they have literally created terrorist heroes who assault people for expressing ideas they don't like. I mean, literally, like, if kids are like, we think teachers should be armed, these heroes put on masks, these Antifa masks, and then they attack students. They attack teachers, and they're always presented as heroes. This is, if SJWs had more power, they would be physically attacking you more. They would be destroying more people, and they would be telling you every single thing you can think, say, and do.
I think you're right about that. And I think they're seeking that power as well, though. You know, it's only a matter of time. You know, it's a matter of time before they get it. But yeah, this is it is. Oh, by the way, I just looked up Iris Lay. It's a pretty good depiction of herself, actually. she's not unattractive. She's skinny. She's Asian. And let me see. Let me double check. That's a little weird. Yeah, it looks like her. Okay, very good, very good. But yeah, this is the thing. The more power you give these people, yeah, you're exactly right. The more intrusive they become, and the more they want to strip the world of beauty and then just emphasize failure, emphasize a lack of trying, just emphasize just sort of being okay, just being okay with complete, with just not with no success. We're seeing it in the comic book industry all around. We see it right here. Black Cat #1 tops Diamond charts in June 2019. Marvel Comics regains market share, but overall sales are falling. What's up with Black Cat #1? Why is this book the #1 book? Do you know?
Because they fake the numbers.
That's why?
They just overship like crazy.
Here's Rich Johnson. So, I mean, take whatever he says with a grain of salt. Sometimes he's honest about this kind of a thing, though. It's interesting. He reports on all the comic shops closing down, which is odd. I don't know why he does that. It doesn't really go along with his stated agenda. He says, here's a statistic for you. Comic book sales in 2019 so far compared to 2018 are down over 5% in numbers and down over 0.5% in dollars. That's not great. Through June, though June 2019 was 1/3% up on June 2018. But overall, the direct market is selling fewer comics for slightly less money. Expect to hear a lot more about this at San Diego Comic-Con from a week today.
What are they going to say? We've destroyed an industry. Please buy our books. Like, what are they going to say?
Yeah.
I mean, all you could do is just say, I mean, literally, like, we're doing a Heroes Reborn with Ethan Van Sciver, Zack, John Malin. Greg Tenopoulos taking over all the kids' books at, IDW. What are you going to do? They've destroyed it.
Yeah, I don't see how it comes back. Yeah, you can do events. You could do events like that. You talk about Heroes Reborn, but that's just not going to save it. I mean, people are walking away. Just the spirit of comic books feels dead. The spirit
yeah. You go into the comic store and it just feels weird, sad.
Yeah. There's a sense of just kind of like, it's over now. And I mean, every now and then something interesting will come up, but for the most part, there's a lot of infighting. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of people.
Constant fear. Constant.
Yeah. All right. So April 2019 market share saw Marvel Comics take over 50% of the market for sales numbers that month. That's because DC has backed down by 24%. DC Comics they've scaled back their publishing by 24%. So look at Marvel Comics' piece of the pie now. It's enormous. DC has shrunk. Look at DC. These used to be roughly the same size. DC would be just a little bit, couple of percent, maybe shy of Marvel Comics. Now look, DC Comics is just like, all right, we're ceding the field to Marvel Comics, who was just like, let's overship now. Let's double down.
Yeah, they're in a bunker mentality. They're trying to wait out the storm, but there's no waiting out. It's destroying your house. I still can't believe that Didio never just directly confronted Marvel. hey, your flood the shelves is destroying the industry.
Yeah.
It's absolutely destroying it. Stop it. And just saying that and just being like, hey, none of this community bullshit. You're trying to destroy the whole industry, so we're going to try and destroy you. We're getting, so-and-so to write Batman, this person to do Superman. We got the best of the best. And they just went for bunker mentality.
They're not creating excitement. They really seem panicked, and they seem like they're just desperately trying to hang on to things. Now, Walking Dead canceling itself this month.
Jeez, by the way, I tried to look at this article on Bleeding Cool without having my freaking uBlock origin and go. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. You owe me a tablet.
Your tablet got Bleeding Cool AIDS cancer. That's what happens. It's just when I want to use a Bleeding Cool article, I have to go to it and I have to sit on it for about 10 minutes and just erase all the ads before I can use it. It's
spastic. It just won't stop trying to. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now I got to reboot it and hope I still have an operating system.
Yeah. Sorry about that. This is pretty terrible. I hate to see DC scaled back like this. This is them minus 24%.
You've heard my Thatcher quote, right?
What's your Thatcher quote?
She says that, before her, the prime minister, the previous ones, his job was to manage decline, and she couldn't bear the thought of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what the Obama administration said.
Well, this is what Didio, he's managing decline.
Yeah,
he should be coming out like a freaking lion. I know he's like a businessman, but when you're trying to put my business out of business, that's the time to get angry.
But what does somebody like him do who's kind of stuck in his ways? I mean, these guys have been running the comic book industry for Dan's been there since 2003. So, he's been there for 16 years. And Marvel Comics has basically been the same. They put CB Cebulski in there for some reason as just a lightning rod, as a buffoon to take the hits.
Yeah, I mean, people are saying that Rich Johnson and Sana Amanat cut his legs out from under him day one. So he's like a Gerald Ford, Ford of Marvel.
What a great way to look at that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Whatever. You're already gone. Just tweet about food. That's fine.
Oh my God. So anyway, I see Walking Dead departing Image, by the way. So this is gonna shrink again. Image, by the way.
What are your thoughts about that? My thoughts is a couple-fold. I think I heard that he was getting bothered at the artist getting a little sloppy, but I also just think he's even Walking Dead wasn't selling amazing. Walking Dead was, 50,000?
It was down in the 40s at one point.
Yeah, it was not even worth it at that, that point. You're just waiting for that next, 12 psychopaths. It's and we just added up all the kills, and white men have killed 70% of the zombies, while black women have only killed 12%. That's pretty problematic. And we're going to contact. And he's like, "What? I'm a millionaire. Just go away."
Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason. I mean, what he did was he walked away from the comic book industry because there's just no point to it. There's no money.
Would you say he walked away because it's dead?
Yeah. The whole comic book industry became The Walking Dead. So he was he's obsolete. His book's redundant. There's no reason. And the TV show was almost over. The TV show's been ruined, but the guy's a multi-millionaire. There's no reason to just sit there and produce comics in this industry, which doesn't even have the joy that it used to have. There isn't even a reason to do it for fun.
I'm having fun. I can feel like you're having fun, but yeah, the broken direct market, oh my gosh, it's just so miserable. It's just so sad. And then you're going to work for a year, and then, oh my gosh, somebody colored an Asian character with blue eyes, and that's offending 12 weirdos. So, oh my God, we're just going to pulp the whole run,
Yeah. His leaving really says something to me. That presages the end.
Yeah, it wasn't just I'm out of stories. I don't believe that was 100%. Yeah. I believe he's like, I'm a millionaire, and it is not worth it to sell this few comics in this insane freaking industry. I'm out.
Yeah. So what about his other books? Is we'll see how. I don't know if
He did that Oblivion song, and it's okay-ish, but I think he was also disheartened by that one. He funded that one for like 2 years, and when it was released, I think they had like 10 issues done. You could tell he was supposed to be his next big thing, but it's just a very moderate seller. And I think it got optioned to be a movie where he obviously wanted to be a TV show, and he's like, "Oh, I could have just pitched this as a movie 2 years ago. Like I've got an agent, you know what I mean?" So I mean, it's clearly a TV show idea because it's about exploring a world and dealing with the phenomenon. But yeah, I think he's disheartened, and I can understand like this. I always talk about this, and you're just like, no. I brought up this Hero Reborn. You go, I don't want to work at Marvel. Yeah. He goes, what do you want to do? Another Jawbreakers book. You'll make more money and you'll be happier. I was like,
Yeah, no, I know you want to be there because we're passing each other in opposite trajectories. Like I've already been there. I've been to DC. I spent, 25 years working in mainstream comics, and I'm done. I'm done with it. Like now.
Would you say you've been to the mountaintop?
I've been to the mountaintop.
And the air was thin?
The air was thin. I made as much money in mainstream comics as I think it's possible to make, with few exceptions.
I agree. I pissed off John Byrne one time when I talked about I just threw it out there. I go, in 1 year in the 1990s, he probably made $1 million. He got pissed about that.
He said he never did. Yeah.
He said the most he ever made was like 650,000. And that actually kind of broke my heart. I was like, what? Really? Well, 650,000 in the 1990s was good.
No, it
was kind of worse because the taxes were higher back then, right?
Yeah, no, it's not good though, because people were making millions. People had 7-figure
You were
salaries.
telling me that like inkers were making $1 million sometimes.
Absolutely. $1 million a year. Sure. It's easy when, he had the wrong attitude. The problem with John Byrne was he was primed to exploit all of the work that he'd ever done from 1991 to 1994, when everyone at Image would have happily brought him over. He would have had to kiss a little ass, and say, "Yeah, I'm here."
Yeah, he had an ego. He's like,
I deserve everything that they have that they're getting, but I deserve doing my thing, not joining their thing.
Danger Unlimited instead of doing 4 issues of Wildcats and making $1 million.
Ridiculous. Yeah, and I think he's got to look back on that with a lot of just scorn. He's got to be like very, very bitter about it.
Scorn is such a good word.
Thanks.
You need to do a book called Scorn. You know that was the original title of the John Wick.
It was called Scorn?
Yeah. And then Keanu was very excited about it, but he kept calling it the John Wick movie. And it just stuck.
Yeah.
That's better. Yeah.
Do you think Scorn is better than John Wick?
Oh, no, I don't think it's better for John Wick, but Scorn is a very, very good name.
No, I'm doing a book after Fearsome called Mean Streak.
Is it about a speedster?
Yes.
Very good. Wait, there's not a Mean Streak already?
There is, but I'm doing my own. And if it's Mean Streak as one word, then I'm going to do it as 2. And if it's Mean Streak as 2 words, I'm going to do it as 1. And I'm going to.
And then you can do STREEK or something like that.
Sure, I don't care, or with a Q at the end. Something.
Trademark and copyright is funny. I've been learning a lot more about it, and the whole thing is just about trademark is about confusion. So as long as they're not confused that this is a DC character or a Marvel character, you should be good. They can still challenge you in court, but that's the whole thing. Like if I ever do a John Carter book on my own, I'm just going to say, not associated with Edgar Rice Burroughs but you basically talk to me about like, why do John Carter? He's not that big. Just do your own character.
Do your own thing. Yeah. I mean, it's fun to be able to do Dracula, but ultimately everyone's done it. Do your own thing.
What about Dracula and Sherlock Holmes? Have you ever thought about doing that?
Well, yeah, I know a guy who does a bunch of novels based on Dracula and Sherlock Holmes. You could do that, obviously, but instead, what you could do is just have Dracula turn up in Jawbreakers. You could have Dracula or Sherlock Holmes turn up in Jawbreakers somehow.
There's actually a lot of public domain that you're not going to get challenged, but I don't like those ones. Like I don't like Dracula, I don't like Frankenstein, I don't really care about Sherlock Holmes. I like John Carter, but he gets contested. I like Zorro, but he gets contested, even though they're both public domain.
Zack, stick around. You're going to get some real IPs pretty soon.
All right. Rainbow Bright. Oh, what a betrayal that would be. Oh my gosh!
Rainbow
Only
Bright, and then you choose me for Rainbow Brute. I feel like you son of a bitch. Top 10 anime betrayals.
that
By
would
the
be
way,
number one.
look at this chart here. Like Dynamite Entertainment is at 2.15% of the market share. Good for them. That's pretty great. Yeah, this is depressing. What can I tell you? This makes me just Funko Pops is basically holding up the entire comic book industry.
Yep, and Magic the Gathering, those two.
Incredible. Totally incredible. Look at just down. It's like from comics in a year down 4.63%. And it's just a continuing trend. This is just the third year of decline in a row.
Hey, I got one for you to talk about as well.
Yeah.
Jimmy Palmiotti on his Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like a day or two ago, and he talks about like going to an outing and kids don't read comics, and he says that the future of comics is dark or something like that.
He said that?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to see that. That's fascinating for Jimmy to say.
So I think Jimmy Palmiotti is a good guy, but I'm sorry. I know this is rude. I think he's dumb, like just not very smart. He's constantly trying to save the industry, but he won't say the problems, and then he just casts about random stupid things.
Well, he wanted everyone to like.
19 hours ago. Oh, it was only 19 hours ago.
Okay,
Spend a week at the beach. It's easy to find.
All right, I'm finding it right here. It is. Okay, so let me share. Jimmy's an interesting guy. He's extremely charismatic. Everyone likes Jimmy, and we'll talk about that if you want. Spent a week at the beach with family and a bunch of kids, 5 to 14. None of them had a real interest in reading. All of them spent way too much time on their phones. Half playing games, the other half watching YouTube videos of people playing games. Rough times ahead for comics. Yeah, wake up.
Those are two completely different thoughts. You know what I mean? There are rough times with comics, but it has nothing to do with kids on the beach, not reading them. The deal is that they had a very, very good audience of 40-year-olds with tons of disposable income. They either never had kids or their kids are out of the house now. And these 40-year-olds, what is the life expectation now? Like 85, 90?
Yep.
They threw away an audience that's going to live for another 50 years to go for SJWs who don't have money and kids who don't have interest. It's the craziest, stupidest thing. And he's a big guy. I don't want to shake him. I just wish he'd be smarter.
No. This is you're 100% correct. Like what he's saying here is he thinks the future of the comic book industry. And by the way, everything's going to come to an end. Print is eventually going to come to an end. And yeah, people are reading less. They're being informed. They're being told stories in movies and video games and on TV, on the news. People aren't reading the same, but we do have this audience now. We are still reading. This audience that you hate so much, Zach, not you, but us. These people hate 40-year-old men. We're the ones who are still buying comics. We're the ones who are still reading comics. This is a reliable audience, like you said, that is going to last. We're going to live another 40 years. There's no reason they should be spitting on this audience routinely and seeking people who don't have any money. These people don't have any money. And even if they had the money, do you think they'd give it to you?
No.
They'd spend it on, you know what they'd spend it on. They'd spend it on all kinds of other things. They're not going to be buying comics. They're just not going to be buying comics. It's not going to happen. So why appease them?
Why would you focus on the people who buy the cereal that comes in a plastic bag? Like that's not the future of any industry except for the cereal industry.
Couch surfing hobos are not a market. They're not a market to go after.
What is this staticky thing? I love this. You said that yesterday. Staticky.
You liked it when I called a woman a staticky bitch one time, but I don't know. Static to me just means constantly complaining.
You were saying you've just been using the phrase static, and I it's one of those things where I don't know what you mean, but I know what you mean. I imagine inside of their head just static instead of normal thoughts.
But it comes out to other people. You think about when you in the old days where you'd switch to a UHF station with nothing on it, and you get that white snow, that noise, and you were like, ooh, and you had to turn it over because you don't want to listen to that. It was an irritating noise. But see, that goes on in their heads, and it also makes other people. It's contagious. You feel their static. You ever?
Oh yeah, when we were doing those woman at Oni Press, it's just so dark to be in their thoughts.
Yeah.
Everything's oppressive. Everyone's marginalizing you. Everyone's terrible. There's this community, but you're afraid of them, and you're always kicking people out of it. But then you're afraid of being kicked out. Like, it's awful. It's just the most horrible life.
And if you can just tune out that static, I want you to imagine just switching the station to Comicsgate and just relaxing and just enjoying comics again and not worrying about this shit. Just as we used to say, you know, back in the 80s when TV still had dials, just flip it over, just turn it over, turn the channel over to something that's actually, you know, offering something positive, something that makes sense, something that's sane, something that's fun. This isn't fun. You know, Jimmy's comments here are not fun, and they are thoughtless. And Jimmy is going around like a chicken with his head cut off. Now, I know Jimmy Palmiotti. I know his whole thing. Jimmy Palmiotti's whole thing is to find the best way to make the most money in comics. And I used to say to him, I remember Jimmy did Vampirella #0 back at Harris Comics. You know, he penciled it, and he inked it, and he wrote it. And it wasn't very good. Be honest with you, you know, because he was working against guys like Buzz, Joe Quesada, you know, would come in and do some Vampirella. Jimmy's stuff, his name was everything, but his work wasn't, his penciling wasn't so great. But I always thought, you know, he could get better if he applied himself, and certainly his name was enough to sell a comic in the 90s. So I asked him one time, I said, Jimmy, why don't you pencil more? And he says, you can't get rich in comics penciling them. You know, you can get rich inking them, you can get rich writing them. You know, and then you can get rich selling off IPs. But you can't, you know, penciling just doesn't make sense. And this was a big thing. Like a light bulb went off in my head when he said this. This was like 2007 or 8. We're walking around San Diego. And I thought, wow, Jimmy is in comics to get rich. Like that's his whole thing. I've never heard anyone say that before, believe it or not. You know, I'm here to make a lot of money, get rich and retire. And then a little while later, I heard Steve McNiven express the same thing to me. Yeah, he's like, Ethan, you know, I just signed a bonus. I signed with Marvel Comics for a big, like, 6-figure bonus. And, you know, my whole thing is I'm putting money away. I want to retire. You know, I'm going to retire comfortably. And I went, more of this people, a handful of people who are here to make money. These people are going to be doing less and less work. And these people are eventually going to come and talk to us. And a few of them already are. You know, Doug TenNaples' success on Earthworm Jim just goes to show this formula works. It's simple. Doug got a social media audience. He learned how to do that here. He built up a YouTube channel. He got out there. He got a customer base from promoting Bigfoot Bill. And then he just went out and he sold the hell out of a property that was appealing.
Yeah, I was getting Facebook ads for it.
Yeah, he did that. People are saying, maybe we should do Facebook ads. No, do not do Facebook ads. You know, I honestly, you know, if I could say that to young people who are, you know, not young people, but people who were starting and doing their campaigns and thinking they need to invest money in Facebook ads because Doug did it, don't do it. Doug is in a unique situation. He had a property that everyone knows. So a lot of people know Earthworm Jim, that you just have to tell them that there's an Earthworm Jim book. How do you get that information out there? You might want paid ads. But if your book is something that nobody's heard of before, you know, it's like they're going to see those paid ads and just go, what the fuck is this? And they're not interested. You actually do have to do the work through social media of informing people about what your book is. So he had a little bit of a leg up because Earthworm Jim is a known and beloved property in the video game community. Just letting people know, sold the book. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to. But my advice is don't do that. Spend your money on something else and just spend your time promoting your comic book through YouTube and Twitter. Okay. So that's my advice. Not you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to everyone else. You might be different. You might be at the point now where Facebook ads might work for you. I might be too.
I'll try it. I know some of the tiers are really affordable, like $25, $50, $75. I'll see.
Yeah.
And then you can track it on your campaign insights on Indiegogo. It says like who sent what to your page.
Yeah. You'd be able to see how much of it is actually working.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't talked to Doug yet post-campaign. He wanted me on his last day, and I invited him on my show the day after his campaign closed. But both of us were too busy. I'd like to have him on here and talk about what his results were from that. But I can't imagine that. I just don't want people going into that. It's already hard enough to raise the money to get your book funded for most of these people. The idea that they would invest $500, in letting people who don't give a shit know, is just, that scares me. I don't want people to do that. All right. So, again, it's going to hit you sooner or later. All right. The kids are not interested in comics. This shouldn't tell you that it's a dark time ahead for comics. This should tell you that your assumptions about the future of comics are faulty. They're just your presumptions. They're wrong. The truth is the future of comics lies in us. And frankly, it lies in us passing them on to our kids. A certain percentage of us are going to be able to convince our kids, because we have kids. We're not childless weirdos. We actually do reproduce. We'll get them interested in these superheroes and these books, and they'll be maybe a next generation of comic book readers. But it's so much like negativity, but it's just misguided,
I contend we could literally get no new readers and still have a healthy industry for the next 3 decades.
No, I said the same thing. Yeah.
All these people in their 20s, there was 1 million people buying comics in their 20s, and they have fond memories of it. Now they're in their 40s, they have more money. And if you just grab a micro percentage of them, 10,000, 20,000, yeah, that's a good audience.
Yeah. Dirigo Duke says, given his avatar, what does your boy Zack think of Brian Michael Bendis's Legion of Superheroes?
I don't think I ever read that.
I don't know.
Bendis just makes me angry. He's so arrogant. He just doesn't care. Or he cares, but he only cares about stuff for himself. So he's just obnoxious. His name makes me not buy stuff actively. Even if I can get a good video out of it, I can't take it.
Yeah. He's a social justice warrior. I really resent, I do resent his whole thing. Like, he's introduced all of the, people of color replacement characters. And most of that's from him. And I don't understand why why people are okay with this. Why are black people okay with Bendis, balding white Bendis, male, creating the characters that are supposed to represent black people? Maybe we talk about representation.
And they're so boring. It's like his Luke Cage is just a wimp. A wimp pushing a stroller down the street. Like, that's not what you want from Luke Cage.
It isn't. It's like, why do they want to emasculate these people? Why are they taking the balls off of these people? And then they see Shaft 3, the movie that's out in theaters right now, and they're offended by it. Like, that's real. Like, that's badass. That's testosterone. That's what people enjoy. Aquaman, the movie Aquaman, is just another example of, this is what women want. This is what men want from superheroes and women. They found it. They stumbled upon this formula with Aquaman, never to be repeated. They're not going to repeat it. Of course not. They don't know how. They don't know what they did right. You know what they did right? They had a hero that men want to be and that women want to have sex with.
And then a really pretty co-lead in, what was it, Mara?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she beats the shit out of Johnny Depp, though, so I don't know. You know that, right? I mean, she's like, Johnny Depp's suing her for like $150 million.
Oh, yeah, that thing's so messy. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's horrendous. I don't like to talk about her. I don't want to support Mara because of that, but whatever. I like Johnny Depp.
She looks great, though. And then I remember the comments are like, SJWS is like, that's not a natural hair color. It's like, go away. Go away.
Oh my God.
You got $1 billion movie with a what is the lead actor? He's Samoan?
I think so. Yeah.
You got a $1 billion movie with a Samoan lead and a female co-lead they're almost like equals in that. And her hair's not natural color. Your hair isn't a natural color. Oh, they're the worst people.
Yeah. All right, I got a couple more stories, Zach, and then we're going to go back. We'll run through. Well, before we do that, let's go back to Jawbreakers real quick, and let's. There are new people here. We've got, let me see how many people are watching. Yeah, we've got almost 1,800 people watching still. So let's go talk about Jawbreakers and make sure that everybody's supporting it because it's important. Jawbreakers God King graphic novel. This is your boy Zack's new book. Zack has been working on this forever. This is the culmination of an awful lot of hard work. And congratulations! Wow, dude, you're $30 away from 90,000.
Very exciting.
Holy shit! The next person who backs Jawbreakers God King is going to push it over 90,000, guys. Let's look at the let's look at what's available. God King book and pinup for $25. God King 2-pack, you get 2 of everything for $45. And signed God King book and pinup. Get this one. Get the autograph. You're definitely going to want your boy Zack's autograph on your comic. He just put that up. We've already sold 10 of those. And that's only been up for a couple hours. You've already sold 10 autographed God King books. You guys, let's see. Nueva Legion says change the cover. Hold on. I don't think we can, but I've never watched this. You made a 20-minute video, Zack, about
I'm enthusiastic, though. The last one, it was 20 minutes, and it was sullen for Iron Sights. This one, I was up, but there's like, what are you doing? It's too long. It's like,
you're over 90,000. Congratulations.
Wow. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. We can get you up to, we got to get you to 6 figures. Well, we're going to do this. Imagine Lex says, let's go make it 10K, boy, 100K, boys. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so exciting. So, and I always like I love looking at the backers, the amount of backers. I think I had 12,000 last time. I'm shooting for 10,000 conversion, and it's very, very exciting. You guys are gonna love this book. It's so good. I can't wait for you to have it. I'm very excited. And then Iron Sights 2 is already 60% done.
Magnificent. I can't wait till you launch Iron Sights 2, but this is the big one. This is, to me, Jawbreakers is, I mean, these are just big, huge Michael Bay movies. They're so fun. They're so over the top. Great superhero stuff, and a great theme. I love the idea of, these guys were former superheroes, but now they're kind of, what would you say? How would you describe them?
Mercenaries.
Yeah.
They're the Expendables. Oh, and this guy on the screen right here, this is a gay character. This is when I do a gay character. He's not wearing a onesie and making campy jokes and acting like a clown. Like, he's a badass that everyone respects.
Yeah, isn't that nice? Gay representation. This is what it actually probably should look like. I think people would be happier with this. Guys, by the way, if you're in the chat, go brag about this. If you can't even, if you're someone who can't help Zack right now by backing the campaign, one thing that you can do is just tweet it out. Just brag that Zack just hit 90,000. Let people know. Let people know about it, and it's cool. Let's see. Cyberfrog Blood Honey's over here as well. Look at Salamandroid. I love Salamandroid.
I don't want to kill Salamandroid.
You don't want to kill him? No,
There's something about him being big that makes him nicer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he feels like he would probably be protective, whereas Cyberfrog I just want to just shoot him and kill him.
Oh, that's not good. I'll have to workshop that. What can we do to make Zack not want to shoot and kill Cyberfrog? How can we make changes to make him not feel murderous towards our lead character? We'll work it out. But Salamandroid is just a great big Great Dane. I owned a Great Dane named Ace the Bat Hound. I had him for like 5-6 years, and then he died. They don't live very long.
Jeez.
They don't. They like maximum lifespans like 10 years. They're big, friendly animals, but they get hurt, they get sick, they eat something that they shouldn't eat, and then they're fragile. But they're super friendly giants. They're the best dogs because even though they take up a lot of space, it's like living with a camel. They wouldn't hurt a fly. They just look up to you, and they're they bark really loud. They're protective, and they're just they're great friends. They're great pals. They look like it's like living with an AT-AT, So Ace, my dog Ace, went into a lot of Salamandroid as well in terms of his personality. Like, he will rip shit up, but what does he want? Ultimately, the only thing he wants approval from his mother, the spacecraft. He just is like, do you love me? It's like, that's all he wants. And then, his job is to take care of Cyberfrog and watch his back. And that's what he does. He's not heavy on brains. He's just heavy on loyalty, and he has a mission. And I think people like that. You know, people like
Are
that.
you going to be able to have Kyle Ritter ink color Rainbow Brute?
He wants to, but you know what? He's going to be a big star. I mean,
Yeah.
Kyle
Huge.
Ritter, Starblades is going to break out. What I keep Kyle's like, I want to do. I'm like, Kyle, you're going to do what's best for you. Obviously, if you can do it, I want you to do it. But like, I'm, you know, I'll push you out of the nest, you know, and then let you fly. You know, you can always come back to the nest. This is what I tell Hunter: come back to the nest if you need to. But it's important that, you know, you find your wings and get out there and do your own thing. And Starblades is going to be, what's my prediction? 500,000, maybe more.
It just looks, and he made this promotional video, and a lot of times people send me promotional videos. They're like, "What do you think?" And I'm just like, "How long did you spend on it?" Like, I don't think they sell things very rarely.
Mm-hmm.
This is so cool. It does all these, you know, like cool graphics and like whip pans, and then like it'll zoom in. It looks really, really good.
The book is absolutely amazing.
I turned around and I realized I got the pinup right here, framed. It's like right in front of me. It just looks so fantastic. Devil Dog is so small on it. Yeah. People sometimes ask, why did you put Knife Hand in the front?
Yeah, why did you put Knife Hand in the front?
I don't think I did. I think that was supposed to be Silkworm, and my notes were scribbly. But it's good because he's got the glowing hands. So I did the composition, and then Ethan finished the story. But yeah, it looks so cool. I love this Knife Hands because he's visually, you know, his hands are glowing. But Devil Dog's so tiny. Also, yeah. I'm not sure who gave Knife Hand nunchucks. He has nunchucks now. Sometimes he has swords. I like when people just do their own thing. Like John Malin gave Cuffs this double-bladed knife. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah, I made fun of him for that double-bladed knife. Yeah, but you made it make sense. I said, you don't need, you know, one. One cuts through, and then what's the other one doing?
The second one hurts your feelings.
That's right. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to talk about was Star Wars just a little bit real quick here. Zack, the new Lucasfilm guys, the guys who are designing Star Wars.
Excuse me, the new Lucasfilm women?
Oh, good. They're women. I can blame women for this.
No, it doesn't work in that direction. It only works in one direction for compliments. It's a semi-permeable membrane.
Yeah. Well, I would like to blame women for this. This is horrible. These people are just ripping off video games. These people, Star Wars used to be the singular vision. It was like George Lucas. He had his batch of guys. But I mean, you would look at Lucasfilm spaceships and you go, I can see where the influence came from. You know, I can see that it's World War II. Okay, I can see that that's like a big deal. But ultimately, you know, they're coming up with brand new things. This new batch of guys that's over there, these weirdos, Data Racer 117, great researcher here. He's pointing out that what looks like it looks like they're just ripping off video games. Now you've got the new Stormtrooper here, clearly stolen from Halo, or at least highly influenced by it. What do you think of this?
I don't know about that one. It just looks like a whatever those troopers are called, painted red.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm
Are
just
you talking about this anime one at the top? What is that for?
So this one here. Look at this. Let's look at the shape, and then over here. Do you think this is reaching a little bit, or do you think that?
Yeah, it's reaching.
All right.
They're called Sith troopers, right?
Yeah.
So is the deal now that like, oh, are they doing the thing where it's like everyone can be a Jedi? So now it's going to be anyone can be a Skywalker, that's the good guys, and anyone can be a Sith, that's the bad guys.
Yeah, pretty much. Skywalker is just going to be a religion. Yeah, we can.
Is Brie Larson going to be a Jedi?
Not in this one, but I'm telling you, yeah, just to be out of spite. Every decision is made.
It was so spiteful how she did this. She's like, I'm like super Jedi-y. Like, you know, okay, first of all, the prequels got roasted because there were so many Jedis. All we had to hear for 10 years, too many Jedis. And now it's like, I could like super be a Jedi.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's, you know, again, it's just, these women don't care. These weirdo feminists, these SJWs, they do not care about these things for real. They pretend to. They just go, "Oh, I love that." It's just like what you say when you say,
When they say they love it, that means they heard of it.
They've heard of it. Absolutely. So here is Star Wars Resistance character known as Tora on this side. And over here is Overwatch video game character Tracer. What do you think of that, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I
Zach.
coincidental, but what I'm saying is ripping something off is an active act of actually kind of caring and trying to impress people. They just don't care. It's all about, what was the new woman who's a producer on the new movie? She has like 2 credits to her name.
Oh, she just got the job. She's what's her name now? I forget already.
I want them to be really feminist and really bold and really progressive, and hire a woman who hasn't been born yet, who her parents sign that she will never have a job, and then at the age of 30 she'll be put in charge of Lucasfilm.
Yeah,
that would be really progressive.
That'd be very progressive. It's very forward thinking. Here's Ryan Johnson ripping off Rose Tico from Rose Yin. Rose Yin. Now this, I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, Zach.
The thing about Rose Tico is they took a pretty girl and they said, let's make her not pretty on purpose. And then when people say she's not pretty, we're going to call them sexist and get shill media advertisement.
Well,
so this beautiful woman is now known for looking like an idiot. That's an idiot look.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at the ridiculous wig. Did Ryan Johnson base Rose Tico on Borderland character Rose Yin from 2015? Rose Yin talks about lighting the fire of revolution and has anti-capitalist dialogue in the game. Her mission level sure as shit looks like crate. Yeah, kind of.
By the way, that gambit, that plan of what's his name, totally would have worked. You put an obstruction in a breach, the weapon is going to explode.
Mm-hmm.
And what was he? A former stormtrooper with, basic fighting skills? He would have been a hero. Absolute hero. He would have taken out that entire cannon. Just one janky little fighter that could barely get off the ground.
Look at this. Come on, dude. Oh, my God. Look at their weapons. What is this?
That's the electrical thing from the first one.
Yeah, it looks like something that grandmom uses when she can't reach something off the top shelf. That's what it kind of looks like. Power tongs. I love Data Racer. He's great. Also, they're just stealing vehicles at this point. Hold on a second. I mean, it's weird. Like you used to have to kind of just be influenced by something and then sort of create something whole cloth. But now these people are just taking race cars and putting wings on them.
This is one of the biggest things I noticed is these new movies that don't have Lucas attached directly. They put wheels, and there were never wheels in this Star Wars universe.
Mm.
There would be things that had wheels, and they would do a little trick to erase the wheels. But they did that in Rogue One, and they've done it's like just whatever. It's just a wheel vehicle.
Yeah.
It's very just like defeated and just like whatever.
Zach, look at this. Hold on. I forgot I got to share. And you've got sooner or later you're going to agree with me. What is this, Zach?
Spaceship from a Star Wars cartoon from a couple of years ago.
Yeah. All right. Now, let me just show you this, okay? Again. And we'll see what you think of this. Let me see if this blows your mind. Hi.
No, this is it's a stretch.
You think this is a stretch? You don't think they put wings on this car and then like turned into a spaceship for Star Wars?
No, there's coincidences that exist.
Zach.
My favorite one is Grievous, his head is literally like the top of a spray bottle. That's good. That's inventive.
Zach, how can you not see this?
Did you just say Nazi?
Yeah. How can you not see that this is that vehicle?
All right, dog whistles. They're out there. Impossible, but also probably coincidence.
All right. You're very kind. You're very kind to these monsters. All right, let me read some super chats and see what's up. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Andrea just came downstairs like, are you coming out swimming or no? Yeah, I am. I'm definitely going to. Jimmy Fakuro, thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
A new member. David Sutherland says, physical fitness is a journey, one step at a time. Zach, how's your fitness going?
Well, except for the lungs, very good. I lost 30 pounds. I kept it off. I'm hitting the gym again. I'm going for that Brad Pitt, like skinny but with muscle look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. Johnny Dollar.
Oh my gosh! You want to say Nazi and then say me too a couple minutes later? All the signs. He's not even hiding it anymore.
Johnny Dollar says, witness the fitness as E kicks this. Monkey DCam says, are you continuing with Rainbow Brew, Uncle E? Most certainly. It's my next campaign. Automata says, I really appreciate that animated Laughing Man end. Wyatt Holiday says, Hail Caesar. Sword and Sorcerer is reborn for a new age. Ardana begins the search for her missing father, lost during his quest to recover his stolen birthright. Ardana number 0 now on Indiegogo and Ardana.com. Snarkticon DM says, see Pocket Jacks Comics. That's how you sell a book. Let's see. Reed Palencia says, just in support of your channel. Thanks for $10. The problems of programming gives much to cringe about. Painkiller Studio says, what's wrong with being sexy? Snarkticon DM says, these two cartoon characters are throwing the white power sign up. John David says, I would be worried if teen boys didn't draw women that way. Yeah, can you imagine how weird that would be if your teen son came home drawing like body positivity images? You'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That'd be weird, man. You're looking through his drawings and they're all like fat ladies. Ascension Comics says, two guys stuffing toys in their rectums. I don't know what that's about. Liam Gray says, in the Renaissance, chubby women were a status symbol and so desired for their motherly feminine figures. The bloated cow-like ogress look never was in. Painkiller Studio says, jealous, they won't ever look like ScarJo, a 12 out of 10. Cute Nerd says, have that student tell a cop or his mother. I wish that would happen. Mr.
Oh, yeah. That line, it's like, what does your body look like? Boom.
Yeah, that's a fireable offense there. Mr. Melange says, ScarJo can play any character she wants except Rose Tico. Jay Gatt says, Black Widow is better than Captain America. Trevor Nielsen says, art is meant to represent idealized reality. Sometimes, but see, that's the thing. Like what that kid was doing is there's nothing wrong with it. And then if you want to draw fat people, you can do that too. Art is everything. And her trying to shame beauty out of the art of that student deserves
shame, bully, and control.
Right.
And then destroy if you don't acquiesce.
100%. Drunken Atheist Studio says, Chi-Town, what up? OBGYN Kenobi, thanks for becoming a member. It's a great name. John David says, I caught bronchitis when I was stationed at Fort Sill. It doesn't go away. You got to actually go to the doctor and get...
yeah, I do. I do.
Liam Gray says, Malin is one of the best visual storytellers I know. Mellow E is a new member. Thanks for joining. Snarkticon DM says, I guess Zack has a frog in his throat, but he said it with emojis. Your head and then Cyberfrog. Ligerbomb27 says, please shout out Blake Northcott and Scott Lobdell's new horror graphic novel, Everglade Angels, on Kickstarter.
Oh, it started? Oh, okay.
I'll support that, even though it's on
Excuse me.
Art by Rock Upchurch looks incredible. Unhinged Crank says, morning, Zack and Caesar. Matt Horkin says, what about Jawbreakers Vietnam, an alt timeline?
So originally, and I always forget to give you credit, that was your idea, Jawbreakers in Vietnam fighting King Kong.
Yeah.
And call it Viet Cong.
Right.
And then I looked into it, and King Kong is public domain, but it looks like they challenge it, if you try to use it. So I was like, it's not King Kong. But originally I was going to do just Jawbreakers weren't even going to have a set continuity. It was just World War II, Vietnam. But I was like, no, I want them to. You're going to care more if they have like a set continuity. But that's where it started from. Yeah. Ethan's idea.
It'd be cool if you did it, but yeah, it makes sense to just keep going forward. Vince Rush Art says, working on another pinup to celebrate this Jawbreakers book. Can't wait to see this hit multiple six figures. Also, keep an eye out for Hellseekers. Professor Roman Dev says, just got Lost Souls in the mail a few weeks ago. First comic book I've ever owned. Gonna buy God King after payday, and I can't wait to get Cyberfrog. Jay Mills is a new member. Thank you. Snarkticon DM says, Zach, steam, tea, and humidifier. It'll help. Story time with, I don't know how to make tea, Zach. These people are like, you gonna make some honey tea? I don't know how to do that. How do you make tea? I can't tell. Like, I don't get tea. I never understood it. Samuel Rossi is a new member. Unhinged Crank says the best thing about collecting back in the day were the asterisks that told you other issues to look up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. They'd be like, you want to know why this is happening? Go look at this. And you'd be like, oh, cool, I will. Joseph Hyde says, I've seen more original thinking storytelling in these live streams and go-go campaigns than I've seen in the last few years of movies. Future is bright. Don Palmera says, EVS, you better be buying your toddler gender-neutral bits of wood with holes in it. Mellow E says, good morning all except Canadians. Canada sucks. I don't endorse that. Track Field is a new member. Welcome. Nolan Nerd, thanks for $10. Hey, Zach. This was the thing about Donnie Cates. Yeah. John David says, get an easel. That's for my back, I guess. Doymon says, JB, condoms have kids like Zach unplanned. JB. Okay. Jawbreakers. Condoms have kids like Zach. They're unplanned. Unhinged Crank says, how much for the Zach spread tier? So people are interested in your bedspread.
If someone can find it online and I can order it, I will definitely make a tier.
Did you buy it or did someone else give it to you?
No, this is literally, it's my buddy's place. It was a room for his mom to visit. So it's all grannied out. It's, have you ever seen the old the curler set? It comes in like this lunchbox with like the curlers on the top level and something else on the bottom.
Yeah.
You don't sound like you.
No, it's a whatchamacallit. My brain, I don't have a vocabulary anymore. I'm getting old. But yeah, I know what you mean. So if somebody could find it, you would actually sell them. Would you really do it though?
Absolutely. 100%.
All right. Okay.
I buy like 3 for myself.
Would you sell yours?
Yeah, that wouldn't be expensive. That wouldn't be like $500,000.
Mr. Malang says we need to chip in to buy Zach a Buzz Lightyear bedspread. DJ Kong says thanks for hearing us out on the higher tier. I'd also buy the card add-on. By the way, guys, Zach's ears are open, I think. If you guys have good ideas for what he should add to his Jawbreakers campaign, what you would bid on, what you would want to back, let him know. Let us know. Give us advice. I routinely change things about my channel, about my content, about my plans based on what you guys say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, ideas are being listened to. Mellowy says cure for coughing, wolf's milk. Ron Laubacker says, yo boy, go to VA and find out if you have asthma. No joke. After the shit we were exposed to, I ended up with asthma in my late 30s. Do you think you have asthma?
I don't think I have asthma. My cardio is great, but I do have something in my lungs.
Unhinged Crank says new character for Jawbreakers 3, Black Mold. That'd be cool. Cracklin says make a new movie with a different title that is a complete ripoff of the old Bond, would not resemble the new Bond, and would make a killing. Yeah, it's kind of, there's a little bit of John Wick in that, John Wick's kind of a Bond character, sort of. Dr. Martin Luther Pepe says, just ordered myself a signed copy of God King.
Oh, thank you.
Kvoth is a new member. Thank you for joining. Unhinged Crank says, please have Zach say I'm your Huckleberry. Did you say it?
I didn't say it, but I don't think I'm going to be able to say it.
Draco51683 is a new member. All male. Thank you for joining. Raging Golden Eagle says, these teachers, quote unquote, are setting future American artists up to fail. Asia will steamroll them in the future. Corey Landis is a new member. I know the thing about Asia is they're producing beautiful, look, I don't like the aesthetic all the time with the baby faces, but those characters are beautiful. They exemplify beauty and perfection in their comics, and people love it. That's what they want to read. Everybody has to tell SJWs to shut up. You have to. If you hear him, just say, shut the fuck up every single time.
Or just ignore him like Dynamite did. I'm not even sure if Dynamite knows about them. It just went on and then sold, 170,000 Vampirellas with Christopher Priest?
Yup, and counting. Draco51683 says, any tips on making sure your female characters aren't Mary Sue's? Okay, so we answered that one. Honestly, if you're not intending to make your female character perfect, and a badass woman, then she's not going to be a Mary Sue. Just give your character
with a Howard haircut, which apparently is like they're like, this woman is still attractive. We exercised her till she had no body fat, but she's still kind of pretty. I know it. I do. Mo Howard.
Ridiculous haircut. That'll do it. Let's see. Yeah. Snarkticon DM says Lashana Lynch looks like an anorexic Tracy Morgan. That's unkind but true. Zachariah Jonah Maldonado, thanks for becoming a new member. Rob J, SJWs will never feel shame because you need to have pride before you can feel shame. Yeah. Yeah, well, they have a mission too. It's not even about that. Like, they have a mission. They think what they're doing is right. Bearsden 007 says, how come they are complaining about how women are drawn busty, but they never complain about the muscles men are drawn with? I smell hypocrites. Yeah, you know what? I've talked about this, Zach. I've talked about how I noticed when I joined comics, and I've only mentioned this once, but I want to run this by you. When I started drawing comics, I drew the Justice League with big muscles because people would say, yeah, but the Flash, certainly he has the runner's body, and Aquaman has the swimmer's body, right? No, they're the Justice League. They're in the gym night and day. I mean, they're big, muscular dudes. There's no reason why the Flash hanging out with Superman wouldn't be lifting weights all the time, especially Wally West.
Well, yeah, you're sitting at that table, and you're like 160 pounds. It's embarrassing. You're sitting next to Batman, even though you don't quote need muscles. You're going to start hitting the gym.
Of course.
It's embarrassing.
And they have the best gyms on the Justice League satellite. You would definitely want to lift weights with Superman. I mean, are you kidding me? Or Batman. So I used to see that. I noticed that these characters were getting skinnier and skinnier. The men were becoming more and more kind of Gumby-like. And it became, people would kind of ridicule you when you would draw the characters big. They'd be like, hey, Flash, he runs, though. Why would he be big if he runs? He's big because he chooses to be big. He doesn't his muscles do not make him run fast. The Speed Force makes him run fast. He's big because he lifts weights because he's a man. That's why. It's so... Anyway, that's one thing that I've noticed, and I'm starting to see it kind of leak into other things, which is why I was happy with the Aquaman movie, and Aquaman being a big, huge dude. That's a return back to what people want. And I said this, I also made this comparison. I said, people used to promote, when it came to dinosaurs, every kid wanted to be the Tyrannosaurus. That's the big dude. You're the Tyrannosaurus, you're singular, you're isolated, like you're an individual, and you are the biggest and the baddest. Now they're promoting velociraptors. Like, everybody wants to be velociraptors, these skinny little chicken dinosaurs that hunt in packs. I don't want my kid to look at velociraptors and think they're cool with their nails, with their sharp nails.
I'm sorry, but I was, clicking off the tabs since we're wrapping up, and then I just saw that Bleeding Cool article. I don't think you emphasized this.
What?
Can I read it?
Yeah.
First of all, they do that cutesy pie SJW talk where they're like, here's the thing. So this is how Rich Johnson writes. Here is a statistic for you. Comic book sales in 2019 so far compared to 2018 are down over 5% in numbers and down over 0.5% in dollars. That's not great. Though June 2019 was 1/3% up on June 28th. Like, oh my God, just shut everything down. That's how you talk? You're down 5% compared to a down year that was itself down to the year that was down to the year, down to the year. But then your silver lining is that 1 month was up 1/3%. What the hell?
I love it. Now you're starting to get like me. You're starting to raise your voice. And that's the thing.
I'm just angry. Like, they're such they're lying. Oh, we got rid of Vertigo because it was confusing. Mags Visaggio, Mitch Gerads, all of these
liars.
Oh yeah, it's confusing. I was super confused. It's so good to get rid of it because about confusion. 2 days later, Joe Hill has a new imprint at DC.
Yeah.
Look at this. Down compared to a down year. That was a down year to a down year to a down year. And then 1 month went up 1/3%. That's not great, but it did go up 1/3% for 1 month. What? My eyes are like bugging out. Like I'm losing right now.
It's infuriating. I've been yelling a lot lately. I'm really, I'm down in the basement in my studio yelling, and Andrea comes down like, what are you yelling about now? I'm like, Star Wars. I don't everything about Like this stuff, this shit bothers me. It really does bother me. And the lies that they tell, just the bullshit, as they're destroying everything that I love, that I know can make lots and lots of money if they just lay off of it and just, continue on the path of prosperity. They're killing it, and they're killing it for stupid reasons, and then they lie about it. You have jackasses like Richard Johnson, who just lies. He just uses his stupid website to lie to people and propagandize them. It's infuriating. I care about the fans. I care about these people, and they're all sitting there perplexed, like, why is this happening? And we keep telling you why it's happening, and you're not listening. You got Jimmy Palmiotti going, well, kids aren't reading anymore. No, adults aren't reading anymore. They do read. They're not reading comics anymore because of the stupid shit that you co-sign. You co-sign death of the comic industry.
2 million people who read comics in their teens in the 1990s who are now 40 and have money to burn.
Yeah. People say, Ethan, your whole thing about Comicsgate is just money. You're in it for the money. Yes. Yes, of course. We're in it for the money. The whole thing about Comicsgate is like, hey, look, this used to be a prosperous industry. There used to be lots of money to go around until SJWs took over, changed the content of the comics, and started kicking out people who disagreed. The industry started to shrink. Where did these fans go? Where did the people with pocketbooks go? They're around. They're just kind of like, oh, shit, I don't like this. But they're around, and you can find them if you look for them. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find some of these fans who would buy something that didn't insult them. If it only didn't insult them, they would buy it. And we're trying to find them, and we're trying to say, look, we're going to give you a good thing. Here's the thing for you. Since we're all talking like that, here's the thing. Here's a
statistic for you.
Yeah.
Say the goddamn statistic. Excuse me. Talk like a man, an adult.
Here's a thing, by the way. Here's a fucking thing. Jawbreakers, God King, the graphic novel. This is exactly the way comics were when things were prosperous in the 80s and the 90s. This is what sells. And I mean, look, I appreciate guys like who did that video that we were talking about the 90s?
Razor Fist.
Razor Fist. I appreciate Razor Fist perspective. I do. The comics themselves, when you reread them, are not very good. But you know what? Honestly, here's the thing about the 90s that's different from today. And you can say, oh, it's just a speculator boom. Bullshit. I was there. Those comics were electric. Those comics were goddamn electric. They sold themselves. You got excited about them.
And also at the time, even people knew like that wasn't true. Like when people would laugh at the guy who would buy 10 copies of Youngblood.
Of course.
At the time, that week, that day, we were laughing at them.
Yeah, we're like, look, this is overprinted. These aren't going to be worth anything. That's not what it's about. It's about, holy shit, these comics look cool on the stands. They're glowing on the stands. They look amazing.
And Rob Liefeld was just so excited, just selling the hell out of it.
Yeah. You had everyone. You have Wizard Magazine out there promoting this stuff. Bright colors, just characters jumping in your face, like big supervillains. All the heroes were excited, badass, like violent, just having a great time. And it was good, man. It was good. Comics were good back then. And yeah.
Happy, healthy, prosperous. By the way, both Donnie Cates and Eric Powell in the last week have talked about buying the rights to or bringing back Mad Magazine or Wizard. And all I was thinking of like, no, you guys would instantly screw it up.
Yeah, you guys.
You would be like, here's the cover. This would be the cover for Wizard 1 under Donnie Cates. Teenie Howard is writing a tie-in to War of the Realms. What the hell? No. You just be promoting just random people for identity. And oh God, there's no way you could do a Mad Magazine. And he was like, a Mad Magazine that really pushes the envelope. Oh God.
More Trump humor. More Trump humor.
It would instantly devolve into one joke that 12 weirdos didn't like, and then they're apologizing and they're re-releasing it and they're editing themselves. Oh, geez, and crow, it would not work.
These people, there is no excitement. You cannot. Wizard Magazine would not work right now under the mainstream comic industry because there's nothing to be excited about. These people are depressed. The people who are making these comics are depressed. The comics are about being depressed, and the entire comic book industry thus is depressed underneath their thumb. And I
think Sean Gordon Murphy, he could, like, if there was a real wizard, they could be pumping Sean Gordon Murphy into selling 200,000. But then, you know what unpumps that?
What?
Him posing with mags in a booth with a plastered on smile. That's embarrassing. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing. That was a political move, but it's embarrassing. Everyone knows why you did it. It pleased Mags. It pleased 12 weirdos on Twitter, and everyone's like, God. So that's the deal. You get into the industry, and you got to kowtow with absolute frauds.
Yep.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's you can do that if that's important to you. If you desperately are, well, I think Sean's whole thing is I think there can be peace. I used to think that too.
Yeah, he's a good guy, but it's still embarrassing.
Yeah, there's no peace to be had with these people. There is nothing but surrender. You either
And the other thing is, it's not even about peace. It's you've lowered your value by doing that. You know, when you're a welterweight champion, I'm not good at sports analogies. Whatever. When you're the boxing champ, you don't pose with random chumps, and even random chumps don't even get to challenge you. I'll fight Mike Tyson in the ring. No, you don't get to challenge me. That's embarrassing that he's putting himself on the same level with an absolute fraud who weaponizes their identity and sells 769 copies.
Yeah.
You should not even have Megs's email. You should. Why am I taking? It was a political move, but it's managing decline, as you know, Thatcher said.
Yep, that's right.
Mags was all over. Mags was literally leaning all over Sean Gordon Murphy. Like, I think trying to trigger like a panic reaction. Like, it was very like aggressive.
It was gross.
I'm gonna just submerge myself. You're gonna be submerged in me in this booth at a pizza parlor, and I'm gonna be watching your smile. I'm gonna like, get the hell off me. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't want you leaning all over me, Ethan.
Who, me? I'm not leaning on you.
Yeah, I know you're not. But if you did, I'd say something to get the hell off me.
Yeah. Ew. Yeah, these people. Look, Sean Gordon Murphy's an exciting prospect for the future, but Sean Gordon Murphy is a lone voice in the wilderness right now, and for the most part, like, comics are just depressed. Comicsgate could do Wizard. I mean, we could do a Wizard magazine, get people excited about the crowdfunding successes that are going on right now. That'd be easy. Yeah. It's easy because part of what made Wizard magazine fun was seeing the prosperity of the Image founders and everybody, all the big names in comics. You knew Mark Bagley was.
Can you imagine Michael Turner with Fathom with a little pie chart? I want to guarantee no profits. No, they'd show him in Santa Monica at his brand new offices with his cool car. He just bought this car. He's out there surfing. Fortunately, he got really sick and he passed away at young. But it was all about like, I'm living the life. This is awesome.
That was true. That's a big part of it. You know, it's like Wizard magazine showed color photos of comic book creators living big, living large, and then inspired you to want to do the same, to want to draw so that you could live like that. There's nothing like that now. You do not want to live like these people.
Can you imagine? This is the cover story. You can live like Chris Sabella.
Oh, you had to go right there. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting Chris Sabella. Total garbage. So yeah, we could do it. We could make it work. Like, look at what we just did. We just made
special contest. Do laundry at the public laundromat down the street with Chris Sabella. Bus tour of Portland with Teenie Howard. Gosh.
Cry in Mark Wade's apartment with him.
Cry at 2 a.m. Cry and scream.
Oh.
Can you imagine how many tantrums Mark Wade's neighbors are hearing through the walls?
A lot.
And I think it's like those really heavy sobs, you know, like when your grandpa dies and you're just like, like you're just crying like that. I don't even think they bang on the wall or the ceiling anymore. And it's 2 a.m. Comic guy's crying again.
Oh, awful and true. Sad and true. Jawbreaker's God King graphic novel back at today. We just added a $100 signed God King book and pinup tier. This should be the main tier. We've sold 11 of them so far. They've only just been up for a little while. Buy God King. Get God King now, and let's see this total get up. We want to get this total up to six figures, bitch. I mean, young lady, 6 figures, young lady, and you guys can do that. You guys can help make that happen. All right. Links in the description, by the way. For those of you who are wondering, you could just drop the description down, and there's a link to Jawbreakers God King. Support your boy Zach. All right, let me read some more of these super chats. Let's see. Rhino says people at Disney ripping off smaller creators. YouTuber Nerdrotic has been covering how the folks at Star Trek are in a lawsuit for theft of ideas. That is crazy. I didn't know any of that. Let's see. The Fourth Age did a great video about Mary Sue's, says Spirit's Car. The nature of heroism and glory, and then SJW Vainglory. I think both you guys would appreciate it.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's very intellectual research. Fourth Age.
I'll look into that. Snarkticon DM says Zach is Bill the Cat from Bloom County. Does he cough a lot? I mean, let's see. Daxamite says, imagine a Fandom Menace Con. That would be crazy. Draco 51683 says, is there any way to get Lost Souls? I missed out and I'm interested in getting it as well.
It's gone. Like that was, the deal where I overprint by, like 1,000. But I've also got there might be like 6 months from now, because when you start something, like people will pop up 6 months later, like, hey, I didn't get my book. So I got a small amount that I got to hold in reserve for like 6 months. But yeah, that was it.
Yeah. All right. John David says, it's amazing watching a talented person use ink and brushes. Snarkticon DM says Starblades is launching on the 22nd. Yeah, we'll be here to help it launch.
I think he might have pushed it out a little bit more. I don't want to ruin it, but I know he did an update. So it was the 22nd. And then John Malin's launching Tuesday.
I can't wait for Graveyard Shift 2. That's going to be fun. Joe Moran says they all work so hard trying to achieve beauty. Let's destroy them at one stroke. Let's be gods. Let's be ugly. That's Lois Cook in The Fountainhead, 1947. Interesting. Little Ayn Rand. Anthony Vogel says the art tutor's goal is to change minds. That's called propaganda. Mr. CPU says Iris Xiao Lei is thin. irislay.com/about. Captain Picard says the new James Bond 007, black female breeze girl. Dirijo Duke says, given his avatar, what does your boy Zach think of? Okay, we read that one. Dibbers Arts, thanks for joining. Unhinged Crank. Salamandroid reminds me of Adam Baldwin in My Bodyguard. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, kind of the same thing. But Cyberfrog's no pussy. It's just that, Salamandroid's got to watch his back. Rooster Roy Reviews, thanks for $1. Michael Roth says, we're painting the troopers red. A tear we shed, the audience won't grow. Soon the franchise will be dead. Beautiful poetry. Rhino says, people at Disney ripping off smaller creators. Grievous Error says, like Lucas's work through a kaleidoscope. Sandra Menz says, new 007 is a black woman. Love from Switzerland. Yeah, we talked about that. K. Brady says, please get Zach a Gatorade or water, or maybe a Ludens, please, and support Jawbreakers. Yethna P says, Zach, after the doc, don't go back to the mold, for fuck's sake. Unhinged Crank says, sell Jawbreakers Jawbreaker candy. Zach, that wouldn't be hard to do. If you wanted to.
No, that would get me hemmed up, because that's the whole thing about confusion. Jawbreakers, you can't just trademark that for everything, but no kind of food ever. That would get me hemmed up.
Yeah. Let's see. John David says Silkworm bench presses Buicks. John Doe is a new member. Thank you. Sarah Rain says Spider-Man and Deadpool canceled already. LOL. What is that? Is that a book?
I can't keep track of the Marvel books. They don't even know. One of Captain Cummings' greatest coup is he was roasting Tom Brevoort, and Tom Brevoort's like, we've got 74 books. He's like, you got 96. Like, Brevoort didn't even know. They're just crapping this stuff. They have no idea.
Yeah. That's Soraya Reigns, by the way, who said that. Spider-Man and Deadpool canceled already. Is that well, I'm going to look that up. I don't know if she's referring to a movie or comics, but, crazy. Yeah, I want to thank everybody for being here and appreciate it. I got to go out and go hang out with the family. Got to go swimming. Zero to Comic, thanks for $5. EVS, Pixel and I are discussing starting a coloring show. Would you be willing to have some of your art featured on the show? If so, I will DM you on Twitter. My answer is yes. Absolutely. You don't have to have my permission. I give it freely. Thanks everyone, and Zach, thanks for coming on, man.
Oh, thanks for having this live stream. We jumped up 2,000, I think.
Yeah, pretty good. And I think we'll do a little
Fantastic.
bit better. Well, I'm going to keep pushing it. I really want to get this thing to 100,000 ASAP.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so everyone who's listening, support Zack by backing Jawbreakers. He deserves your support, and then also let other people know. Promote the book, promote the campaign, put it out on your social media. Let people know about Jawbreakers God King. We appreciate you so much. Thank you guys. Without this, we just we couldn't do it. Without your support, we just couldn't produce comics, couldn't produce content. So thank you for being here, and I will see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye.